Warning. Warning. This is not a test. This is not a test.
Drop it.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Both go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iracing.com.
From the virtual cockpits to you, get ready to experience the peak of iRacing skill. We welcome you to the OB Builders Cup Series. Prepare for breathtaking speed, full commitment, and all-out action. The show starts now.
Tonight, the OB Builders Cup Series goes racing from Charlotte. America's home for racing, the sign of tonight's action as it's the VanLily's Stickers 300 here from iRacing's virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway as we remember and honor here this evening from Concord, North Carolina. Welcome to Ballincat TV's coverage for tonight's action. I'm Justin Prince alongside the booth tonight. It's Jerry Miller with DJ Line producing. Cameras provided by Whiplash Sim Cams for tonight's coverage here from Charlotte. Tonight we go racing here in Concord. It should be a fun night, Jeremy. 300 miles, 200 laps, but one difficult track to conquer.
Yeah, this track has progressively gotten more difficult over the years as bumps have really progressed in on the high line, 3 and 4 especially. It's going to be very important to keep your car as close to the bottom as you can early in these runs, save tires, paint the paint, keep the left sides right on that blue, and move up as the runs progress.
They're going to be using much of that 24 degrees of banking in the corner here tonight to maintain and build speed at a track like this one. It's been around since 1960 after all. 1.5 miles, and of course, host to the longest race in the real-world NASCAR calendar, the World 600, also known these days as the Coca-Cola 600. But these drivers tonight are getting ready for a busy night in general, where they're going to be battling for points and battling amongst the schedule. Just after the All-Star race here this season, these drivers currently just passed around the midway point of the regular season, with a lot of different racetracks on the docket, including Nashville and Michigan, and of course, a question mark for the June 18th date, as there's the question on, will Mexico potentially be in iRacing in time or not? But it should be interesting in general to see what we have in store for these drivers here tonight, Jeremy.
Yeah, definitely going to be a really interesting show. Obviously, 600 miles here in real life, not quite as long as only 300 miles, but still a long race, 200 laps, a lot of time to get stuff done. As we take a look at our standings this season with our 2 3-time winners leading the way with Shane Davis and Brandon Bikey, with Alex Coffey with 2 wins and a few other drivers with 1 win. But we look down there towards the cutoff, Coppola only in by 11, Fluger 11 out. Those guys are going to be starting to look at that more and more every week.
Going to need to push the tempo. We know drivers like Fluger have showed speed throughout the season, but it's about consistency. And some of the drivers like Timothy Harper back towards the rear end, and many others looking to gain a lot more points and potentially some wins to help them along the way for the postseason. Let's take a look at some pictures coming up from the All-Star race that happened last week of different bit of visuals from the All-Star race, and some people having some wild moments like Fluger, who broke the suspension, as you can see, with the hard contact to the inside wall.
Yeah, obviously the All-Star race being at this track a week ago gave these guys a bit of a test session coming into this race, figure out what they really needed out of their cars. Could see some people hoping to stay on all 4 tires this week, unlike what we see there a week ago, and definitely probably worked on those setups over the week to get a little better for tonight if you were struggling.
A lot of those dig cars ended up getting involved in incidents, as you can tell with the pictures. A lot of fury crashes with some ups and downs and some upside down moments for those competitors last time out for the All-Star race. But tonight's distance, it's going to be a long one. Stages laps 45 and 90, 200 laps. The overall distance under the lights. And remember, in this series, open setups. Now keep in mind, expecting green flag pit stops for stage 3. These drivers should be able to make it on fuel in stages 1 and 2, though. But those tire sets are going to be ever more important to think about as the race reaches towards lap 200.
Yeah, definitely going to need to take care of those tonight, save them. We've seen quite a few times results this year coming down to what a lot of drivers in the sim would refer to as a tire lottery, saving tire sets, using them late and gaining an advantage. So will definitely be interesting to see if anybody tries something early tonight to maybe save a set and lean on those later in the evening when nobody else has any remaining.
Absolutely at this point. And there is one other thing to mention as the night goes on. We'll be having a contest tonight to decide who has the best paint scheme here this evening. A lot of these drivers bring special patriotic schemes to the racetrack in the Moonshiners Racing League here this evening. The winner gets $12 going to SWM. The contest brought to you by SimWrap Market here tonight. See who picks up that contest. That'll be at the end of stage 2. We'll open voting for which 3 cars. Qualifying is underway. Already 22 drivers have set times, making 23. Warren Young amongst those on their second lap, building a ton of speed around this circuit. Looks like they're sticking to the top side.
Yeah, you got the wall a little there, which is going to invalidate this lap for him, unfortunately, but a lot of speed can be made up there. You get such a run down the straightaways running up there, and that was an awkward line there for the trial. We'll definitely kind of give him up on his lap, obviously, as he had the contact with the wall and validating the time. But you can make so much time up there, but it's so hard on your tires. You got to be careful using it, with discretion and using it at the proper times. As we see the 54 of Alex Coffey here about to begin his Q attempt.
Yeah, for some reason stopped after the commitment cone, so something going on with Coffey's case here. He's one of the many with special paint schemes here tonight, as he'll run with the red, white, and blue rather than his normal red, white, and black look here this evening on the car. It looks like he's forced to reset. Something going on with his situation. We'll see him regroup.
Yeah, definitely gonna probably want to get out there and settle up. He still has a few minutes here. Looks like here he comes rolling now. So hopefully he got whatever he needed figured out here, and he's gonna be able to go out there and try to compete for a pole here and maybe put down a fun-looking lap for us.
And doing a little gamesmanship, this is something that people will tell you does help a bit. Warm up the tires a little bit before you hit the racetrack. Have to be careful though, 1, in case you spin out the car, Jeremy, but 2, there is that qualified scrutiny where if you are not by a certain speed at a certain point, they would invalidate all your times until you reset.
Yeah, it definitely still has time to reset, so it wasn't too dangerous of a game to play there for him, but it's just something we see everywhere you go with iRacing these days. It's so important to get those tire attempts perfectly optimal for a Q lap, as he's going to come take the green flag on this attempt. Lap 1's probably just going to be to get up the speed lap, trying to get those tires to temp, like we said, and he's really going to go hard on lap 2 if I had to guess.
Keeping it intense on the high side, a little bit loose though. Start off the qualifying run. 190 miles an hour at the end of the straightaways right now as he works his way through the throttle and through the gears. Remember the top time so far, Tim Wortman Jr. setting it. 28.875 is the current pole time. That's So 29.5 to start for Coffee on speed. A lot more quicker now in 1 and 2 now that the tires have gotten up to speed. Or up to temperature.
Yeah, definitely up the temperature. Also up in pressures a little. As the temperatures rise, the pressures go up, which gets your heights exactly where you want. He's going to go to the bottom here. Didn't quite get to the blue line as early as he may have wanted to, but he's going to get a good exit here. Wasn't quite able to get committed to the throttle. That will hurt his lap time coming back to the line.
29.2 is the qualifying lap. That puts them 16th instead in the running order. Not the greatest of runs that they may have been hoping in this regard here tonight. So, Matt Cox, he's now on the track with the shiny blue paint scheme, looking to stick out. Barely any coverings from the headlights. There's no grille decals, in fact, on the kart here tonight. On the car, should say.
Yeah, he's been running these types of schemes for a little while now. It was red, now it's blue, so we'll see we get another color coming up soon. But he's a contender every week. He's had so much speed no matter where we go, and I'm not expecting anything different from him tonight. Even though he didn't have the best of showings in the All-Star race most of the night, he did get there really good towards the end of the evening. He was really strong and a contender in that one.
First lap was right in the ballpark of what Coffee did on his second lap. A lot more speed being carried to the corner from the 32. The only drivers yet to set time so far, Timothy Harper, Shane P. Davis, Ryan Huff. Those drivers currently in the 30s if they don't set a time in the next minute.
Yeah,
See where Cox. Here he goes, 28.9. Puts him second.
That's a solid lap for one of the better drivers on the long runs here, so he's going to have some track position to work with early, try to get clean air and save those tires.
By the way, we hope you're enjoying the action so far as we continue our pre-race coverage here on YouTube and also tonight on TikTok. I hope you're enjoying the action on that social media platform here tonight. The last qualifiers are on the racetrack. They will run out of time, though. Timothy Harper, we can tell you did set a time, but only 26 best in session. The other two drivers in Davis and Huff will not hit the racetrack for their qualifying run. So Tim Wortman Jr. is able to set a flyer here tonight to be able to set himself up for the All About Sheet Metal Pole Award. An impressive run. Wortman Jr. as the qualifying clock reaches zeros. The evening lights are about to turn on here at Charlotte. Here's your starting lineup tonight. Wortman Jr. on the pole with a throwback look this evening alongside Matt Cox. They'll be on the front row tonight for the VanLily's Stickers 300. Then it's Jeffrey Taylor in a presidential seal car alongside Paul Gallimore. Gallimore throwing back in the day of the 1980s from the 4th position. Then it's Kyle Holden starting 5th tonight alongside him, a patriotic scheme of Sean Rogers. Aaron Matthews also going patriotic tonight. A nice-looking 5 car starts alongside Justin Belmonte, who will make an appearance here this evening from the New York region. Rounding out your top 10, Cole Boyskowski will start in 9th, and rounding the top 10, Barry Sanders.
Starting in the 11th position tonight is going to be Brandon Fetterplace in his patriotic 34, joined by the 42 of Corey Moore. 13th here this evening will be Kevin Ruff in the 14, joining him is Greg Carr in the 25. In the 15th position is going to be Kenny Coppola in the 77, with the Marlboro Red, Jose Medina in 16th. Starting 17th tonight is Alex Coffey in that 54, joining his teammate Nigel Christensen in the 20. In the 19th position tonight is the 01 of Matt Mackin and Shane Wyatt in the Camo 23.
21st spot goes to Warren Young. We've seen his qualifying run early in our patriotic scheme alongside Jordan Smeets. He goes back to his bread and butter scheme. Chris Davis starts next alongside Jamison Middlemiss. Back in 24th is the 16 car. Nicholas Atwood will start in 25th tonight. Timothy Harper, also a different look. He'll start in 26th. Then it's Nick King in 27th in the CFM car, followed behind by Caden Norfray. Norfray will start in 28th. Rounding out the field in the top 30 at least, Jarrett Clark and Johnny Shade with a different look here this evening. The rest of the field looks like this. Victor Pfluger did set a time. He starts 31st. Blaine Wilson 32nd. Darren Mills in 33rd position. No times for Davis, and no times put up by Ryan Huff, who rounds out the grid in 24th position. So top to bottom of the run order tonight. It's again your pole award going to Tim Wortman Jr., brought to you by AASM. Happy to have him along for the ride as the temperatures expect to cool on the night as it progresses from 78-degree track temperature right now to expect to go much lower. So you see your pole sitter right on in what is a nice looking throwback here, Jeremy.
Yeah, definitely a good looking 83 car, and hopefully he'll make it run as good as it looks, because really good qualifying lap out of him. It'd be nice to see him have a really strong run here and stay up front for most of the evening.
What are some of your keys to victory here tonight for this long one?
Yeah, just stay disciplined. It's a long race. Don't make mistakes early. Keep yourself ahead of the race car. You know, race yourself. Don't get caught up running too hard with your competitors. Last week in the All-Star race, we saw a lot of crashes with a lot of guys racing each other really hard. Obviously, no points on the line, so they're running a little bit harder than normal. But this week, you do have points on the line. Back it off a little, take care of your stuff, and you'll be there at the end.
Who do you think is going to be the winner tonight and why?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Cox up there in P2. I've picked him a few times this season. He was really strong last week. I expect him to be stronger with a full week under his belt on the setup and, you know, twisting and tuning on it. So I think he's going to have a really strong evening here.
A strong night of racing action here this evening. Again, going to be an interesting night to see what is in store. Do you think a certain team is going to stand out? What team do you think is going to rise to the top tonight and why?
I don't know who's going to rise to the top necessarily. We saw Beast Mode really quite dominant in the All-Star race, but I'm more interested to see if Dig can get out of the funk they seem to be in the All-Star race. Those cars just across the board weren't quite where they wanted to be during that race, so hopefully they got themselves figured out and they can be up there. Otherwise, we will probably see Beast Mode pretty dominant here.
Just about all set to go for tonight's action. The VanLily's Stickers 300 is all geared up and just about set to launch. We're happy to have you with us here on Ballin TV from iRacing Virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway, Concord, North Carolina. It's Wortman Jr. on the inside. It's Cox on the outside, ready to control things to roll to the start zone. Brought to you by Sim Wrap Market. Start box they go. The green flag is out. We're underway from Charlotte.
Really even launch here on the front row. 32 may even beat him to the line there. He's going to have a chance to get this lead early here. He's going to run up here in the middle line, just down there on that seam. That's exactly where you want to be. Keep those lefts right on. That's going to rotate the car really nice. He's going to get the run down the back.
Outside line gets those runs down the straightaways indeed with the corner exit speed. Cox able to take advantage with the run. Also, row two's outside starter, Paul Gallimore, jumping his way on forward. And it's important to make sure you maintain the tires and save those tires as the run goes on, as we touched upon, Jeremy. A lot of these drivers sticking to the bottom early.
Yeah, we had a bit of an incident in the back. Sorry to go a little off track here, but we have a big split in the pack. Everybody from about maybe 15th on back had to stop, and you see it right here on that shot. There is a huge gap, so that gives guys a lot of space to save. Now you don't have to worry about anybody coming up behind you. You can really sit back and save your tires if you're around the back of that pack.
So not the start that some people wanted absolutely here at this one. They're going to need to hope for a bit of luck to close on up such a gap. They continue to shift their way through the gears, and a lot of communication popping up on the radio too in some of these packs as some drivers try and let each other go. That's going to be the main thing, is going to be playing the patience game for some of these cases.
It's just such a long race this evening. You know, if somebody's faster than you, or especially this early, there's no reason to hold them up. So it's good to see people respecting that early and just, you know, giving people breaks when they need breaks and letting them go through. And you just got to hope that when you get back to them later, they do the same for you, really.
Fast lap speed set at the back of the field in the 20s, by the way. Start off the race. Timothy Harper running in 23rd at the moment in the second pack, setting that lap. Some people being a little bit brave, you would call early to push on the early run. Skowski amongst those, trying the high side to make some ground up. Track position is keen here, and we got contact. Belmonte's hard on the wall. Caution flag is out. Our first yellow flag of the evening.
His evening will be over. That car is done. He was not happy on the radio, and quite unfortunate for him. Don't want to be wrecked that early, and just really, really unfortunate.
Replays brought to you by RS Button Boxes once again tonight. The 60 machine going for a ride. Watch right here. Gets a hit to the back end. Into the wall goes the Warrior Wraps car.
I think he got some help from Fetter Place there. I'm not quite sure if Fetter Place thought he was maybe running the middle, as the 60 did kind of look to be peaking like he was going to and then turn back down the track. And I just don't know if the 34 in time to react necessarily to that. Yeah, he just got in there so much deeper.
Caused that big hit to the wall already under yellow. We're into the stage up to lap 45 here tonight. Cox continues to control things up front. Expecting most of the field to stay out here, but already tempers be flaring in the early going of this running here, Jeremy. Now it's the matter of what would you do to plot and plan to move forward here without destroying the tires? What would you do off this restart to get yourself in good track position outside of those who seem to be topping off?
Yeah, I don't necessarily know if they were close on fuel here. So it was probably some sort of strategy, but some guys might have also had some damage, as we did have that incident on lap 1 that split up the field a little. But this is also good for all those guys that got stuck back there a little further back. This is going to group that field back up, so instead of being 5 seconds behind the leader, now they're back up front, and they're going to be able to get back in the main pack. And I think everybody's just going to be going back to what they were doing. We're still going to have a little over 30 laps to go until we get to lap 45 here, so still need to take care of those tires. Can't afford to push too hard yet.
Absolutely. As we continue on here, it's going to get interesting. Planning goes for this evening's action. So we move forward here. So, as we continue on here, it's going to get interesting where the second pack now gets to converge too because of this issue and because of the situation. So now this is the break that the second pack needed to catch back up and not have to fight on the track to gain the ground.
Yeah, it's a huge break there because, they realistically, if it went green, we're not going to be able to catch that front pack. And even if they did, they'd have to use so much tire to make up that much of a gap that they wouldn't have been able to make too many passes. So definitely going to be happy across the board for them that they got this yellow, and just going to have a chance to reset here, come back forward. And if you were one of the faster cars that got caught up in that, this is your chance to get up there and get some stage points. Reset the top 10. Matt Cox on the control. Tim Wortman Jr. alongside him. Galmo and Taylor. Gary Moore, should say, and Taylor. Holden, Rogers, Sanders, Boskowski. Then it's Matthews and Fitterplace amongst your top 10 here tonight. Cabin Ruff. Start on the inside. Cabin Ruff alongside Kenny Kobola in 11th and 12th positions. So we have an opportunity for drivers to really solidify their momentum here on this run. We'll see how long this run goes after already one yellow flag from turn 1. What do you expect coming off this restart? Yeah, I think a couple of guys that saw that wreck are probably going to be a little more hesitant here. Nobody wants their night to end as early as we just saw the 60s night end, so hopefully everybody will give each other enough space to get through this cleanly on this restart, get filed in where they're running, and just let your car run where it's going to run. Run your pace, and you'll finish where you're going to finish. You try to get too much, it's how you end up in the fence. Field ready to go as they get lined up. Sim Wrap Market restart zone. Ready to see this field fly through it. Green flag is out. Back underway. Clean launch by Cox. Outside, kept sleeping as a result of that start as they go 2 by 2. Very strong launch by the 32 there, Matt Cox. He's going to have nearly half a second on the field here entering the backstretch, and them being side by side behind him is only going to keep that gap growing.
Jr. couldn't get the clear to be able to hold on second for now. But hard bumps alongside the tunnel. See Wortman Jr. get the edge for now.
Yeah, Tim's working that high side. He definitely doesn't want to keep leaving these positions. It's early, but track position is so important at this racetrack and in these race cars. So these guys are going to fight for every spot. You just got to balance how much is it worth fighting, how much are you pushing yourself beyond your equipment's capabilities to keep that position.
Still not backing off right now, Gallimore. Still keeping alongside. Still keeping to the fender. And the more that Wortman Jr. runs up here, the more risk he plays. This time he lifts off hard. It costs him 2 positions as Taylor now jumps his way to third.
Wortman will find a spot in line there. He's going to hope to settle in here, but the 44 is going to be looking to capitalize as he sees the 83 is vulnerable right now, and 83 is going to get a little bit tight here. Here comes the 59 on the high side. What a run he has.
All sorts of squabbling right now as they get all sorted right now in the lines. There's Holden saying, I just want track position, and I want it right this moment. Might be banking on more here this run as he jumps his way to second.
Yeah, we saw Kyle Holden's aggressive driving really pay off in the All-Star race, and a lot of shorter runs in that race really benefited him in his pace. Right now he's going to fly to the front. I think he's going to pass Cox here because Cox is saving tires. So the question's going to be in a longer formatted race like this, how will that aggressive short run speed hold up for Kyle Holden?
And for any of the others pushing hard on the top line. Kowski amongst those who push this time high side and nearly runs in the back of Taylor. The 8 machine almost forced the issue with near contact.
Yeah, definitely got pretty close there. It's a little early in the race to be getting that in tight on each other, but he's going to get clear of Taylor. Now he's going to pull into that 4 position. Taylor just staying trained to that bottom as he's going to pull up on one of the other beast mode cars. Paul Gallimore now is they're side by side for the lead, Justin.
Contact to the wall by Holden. Holden able to hold on to it as he tries to slow down the pace a touch while trying to also take the lead. Hard combination to do the save very least. Holden's got the combination to where he takes the lead at least at the stripe. New race leader is the 59. He still has to use the middle for the time being. Has a chance to clear, potentially down the back straightaway, and does.
Yeah, he's working those tires a little hard right now, pushing very hard on the outside of the racetrack. This is where you're going to wear them the most, and he's driving the hardest. And Matt Cox is still hanging in there on that inside, and I got to be honest, just watching Cox come off the corners, he's not fighting the car at all. I don't think he's really pushing that hard. He's just keeping them at the quarter panel and side draft, and that's keeping these two side by side.
Just allowing the 59 to basically potentially chew up their tires here. Gone off the corner exit. Looks like Holden able to clear some drivers in the back of the field, scraping the wall down. No harm, no foul for more as Wortman Jr. has also moved back up top side to make a move. And overall, do you see this race tonight being a bottom feeding type of race, or do you see this where a lot of drivers start to move around and search for grip like you would see at a track like Kansas?
Yeah, they're going to bottom feed on the short runs, but on the long runs, they are definitely going to be able to move around and search for grip. You're going to be really looking up top into 1 and 2 for most of that momentum. They're going to really be able to make that line work. You can run the middle, you can run the wall, you can run a diamond. There's so much you can do, especially on that end of the racetrack, to find speed here.
Chitter chatter popping up at the radio as some of the drivers in the heart of the field still sort themselves out. You know who's moved up a lot? Nick King. He just hit the wall. He started 27th. He's up in 6th.
Yeah, he's been coming forward here in his Ryan Blaney scheme. He runs one of these every week, so he loves repping that. And he's moving forward right now. He's looking a little bit like YRB. He's got another spot here on the docket. He's going to the outside of the 8.
He is not afraid to push his forward at the moment on the outside. There's a slam of the door. Blazkowski forces the switch over. King back to the inside. Takes away 4th spot now. It's currently one of your fastest cars, if not fastest on the racetrack. Last time by, he was only within a 1/10 of his best lap of the racetrack, 2/10 quicker than the race leaders.
Yeah, we're not experiencing too much fall off yet here. It's definitely going to hit that point eventually. You got to consider, though, it's a day to night transition, honestly more of a dusk to night transition. So this track's only going to get cooler as we go. And as the track gets cooler, the tires fall off less and less. And we're going to see the guys that are faster short run even stronger later in the evening.
Fierce battle for a lot of these drivers, such as right about here. Part of the field, this features drivers like Matthews back here and many of the others looking to sort themselves out. Coffee towards the inside. Then you have Shane Wyatt also dealing with Barry Sanders. A lot of different drivers and different strokes building up here. The aero car of Sanders trying to make the inside work of the dig car.
Yeah, Barry is working the inside over right there. He's being patient with it. He's not pushing him too hard, and he's going to get clear here for center. He's going to try to hold it on exit. It looks like he's going to go slide up here and take that position.
The 81 able to retake that spot. Shane Wyatt falls back in line in his military, the paint scheme tonight. This battle was for 10th position as one of the drivers looking to go for the assist is in our dig car. Timothy Harper also moving forward. Same being said for the 42. That machine running forward, trying to gain some time once again. We'll see if the 42 of Corey Moore is able to gain more spots.
Yeah, really nice looking car there at the 42. Might be one of our contenders later in the evening when we get up for a vote, but we're going to be keeping an eye on these guys back here as this run continues to move forward, especially ones that are starting to move forward, as we're hitting that crossover point where the guys who push for tires too hard are going to start to struggle, and the guys who have been saving them are probably going to start coming forward.
A lot of conversation popping up in this pack now. Some troubles involving the 11 apparently. Gallimore checking some of the drivers up. Oh, trouble, turn 4. Coffee in the wall. Moore's in the wall as well. No caution yet. There was a huge checkup in that pack, and 2 Toyotas get collected.
Yeah, it's 2 Dig Esports machines that had heavy contact off that corner. Definitely not what they wanted to see, as you can see heavy right front damage on both of those race cars.
All right, spin boxes replay once again. All from a checkup, it looked like, where someone, it looked like, almost snapped loose, Jeremy. These 2 were just innocent bystanders. This is going to be the latter of the cars involved. Right there.
Yeah, but 5 just kind of got loose and stuffed the 54 in the wall. Nothing malicious, obviously just a mistake on his part, and then the 54 caught the 42 and sent him into the fence as well. And I believe the 5 got out of that unscathed, but these 2 are going to be limping around until they get a caution to go do some repairs to those race cars. As you can see, Nigel Christensen working to the outside of Coffee now, and there's just nothing Coffee can do to fight it.
This car's outright demolished here as a result. Ruff, meanwhile, Munsters, who scraped the wall, he nearly scrapes the back end of Greg Carr. Some of these drivers getting very chippy on the speed differential right now. That checked up the 14 hard.
Yeah, Cabin Ruff struggling here. Oh, in the fence now again. He's dragging. He can't get off of it. He's going to lose another position to Johnny Shade, and he's hitting it on exit too. Really not the lap that he was looking for in that 14 car. He's going to continue bleeding as he lost all his momentum down the front straightaway. But Johnny Shade here is running pretty good. He's looking like he's kind of just hanging around where he qualified. So, or no, sorry, he's actually up 14 positions from where he qualified. So he's one of our biggest movers this evening. He might be one to keep an eye on.
Up front for the lead, Cox and Holden. Now seeing Cox back up in front. Seen these 2 squabble a little bit a few laps moments ago. Holden losing that advantage after pushing hard early on in the run. And now this is where the long run starts to really come into effect for some of these drivers here near contact, as King takes the spot away from Taylor.
Yeah, Yeah, good move for King. He's still moving forward in that 12, so this is a really good run from him, and we're coming to just 16 left in the stage when we cross the line this time, so he's not going to have to hold on to those tires too much longer. I think he's got a chance to do it as the 59 looks like to be seeming to slip a little backwards here as Tim Wortman Jr. moves back to P2.
That's that risk we were talking about. You push hard on the short run, you pay the price about 20 laps into the run. And guess what? We're about 20 laps into the run on these tires. See drivers that saved on the short run, or at least attempted to, gaining some ground on the track. King does make his way to third with the help of the 9.
Yeah, he's worked that outside, and the 9's going to follow him through now on the outside. Kyle Holden just falling backwards here. Does not seem to have the long run pace. He's going to need to work on that as the evening goes on. He'll lose another position.
Yeah, it's becoming a choo-choo train in that middle line, middle to top, as a few drivers getting some issues there. Well, the Beast Mode car's had a moment with the wall. Coppola still able to dive to the inside. Kenny makes the move on King.
Yeah, good move forward here for Coppola. He's up to the 4th position. Wortman got the wall a little bit there out of turn 2. Kyle Holden still going backwards. Gallimore's working on his outside now, and Sean Rogers is going to be following suit.
All this plotting and planning and strategization coming in. Jeffrey Taylor's paint scheme stands out tonight. He's been standing out by looking impressive all night so far. Taking second yet again with the move to the bottom as Wortman Jr. hits the wall.
Yeah, an Air Force One looking race car there is going to be hunting down that P1 position. But Matt Cox has stretched out that lead again, so that 32 is working quite well right now over the clean air, and we'll see if the 9 can build a run and get to him before the end of the stage.
Keep an eye on things. We're already coming up to 11 to go on the stage. When we come up to the stripe, lights of the track are on, by the way. And a decent clip of darkness already, 8:24 p.m. in sim time as we work around the racetrack. And this field is starting to separate out here too, Jeremy. This is going to be, by the long runs later on today, going to be the norm, you'd have to think.
Yeah, the long run racetrack for sure. We see a lot of clean racing at Charlotte when guys are using their heads and just minding their P's and Q's.
Probably straight away. One car goes around to the inside wall. It's Fluger. The 43 spinning around on the apron brings out the caution for the second time tonight.
Yeah, he did a good job minimizing the damage here. I don't think he's going to be done for the evening. He didn't hit the wall too hard when he got down there. As you can see, he was 3 wide here as we take a look at the RS button box's replay.
Got clear to the 3 wide in the first layer. The second layer, he snaps loose, and it just snaps on him and causes that.
That could have been worse for him. As you saw, he was almost pointed at that gap in the inside wall, and hitting that would have definitely been terminal for his evening.
Just trying to get the rotation down with the teammate. Then right here, steps onto the bumps, bounced off one, nearly turns a second car. Takes a hard hit to the left side as he snaps it around, trying to save it from going across the racetrack.
Well, we have hit our first fork in the road for strategy this evening. As we can see there on the right side of the screen, Matt Cox, Jeffrey Taylor, and several others in pit road. But as you see on the screen there, some stayed out. Kenny Coppola leading over Tim Wortman Jr., Paul Gallimore, Sean Rogers. They all elected not to pit. we're gonna head to a quick commercial break here.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iracing.com.
Welcome back to tonight's action here from Charlotte. The VanLily's Stickers 300 continues to show which drivers have the speed to stick up at the front. Justin Prince, Jeremy Bell with you as we continue on with the action. Your thoughts of the action so far tonight as we get ready for a restart. The 77 is ready to control things.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens here on this restart. We have a split strategy as the first cars on tires are going to be buried in the field here. We're hoping to flip the stage, and we have some new contenders playing for the stage win here staying out as Kenny Coppola is going to be restarting P1, and he's going to be looking to gain maximum points here.
See what happens here on the restart. Again, the end of the stage at lap 45. And Wortman Jr. in control up front for this upcoming restart. Pitters as far back as 13th. Most of the Pitters 18th on back as we go through the sim wrap market restart zone. The 77 fires off a good restart.
Great launch from Coppola. It's just what he needed here is we're going to be on old tires through a little heat cycle as they cool down under yellow, so it's going to be important to get that clean air here as everybody's working into a new handling race car.
And we're seeing some different names up here too as a result of the strategy call to stay out. Rogers up at the top three, for example. Keep in mind those fast, fresher tires are going to be charging. You'd have to think after running more than 30 laps of the run. This will pay off though for those who stay out here. The previous caution at least for the next yellow at 45. Rough amongst those working the outside, trying to gain up some ground.
Oh, we have a wreck down the back.
Some spitters involving Matthews. Caution flag is out. It's Rogers. Rogers had been running in third spot. Got turned across the nose of the 59, and we're under yellow again. Let's take a look at the RS Button Boxes replay as things got chaotic off the corner.
59 just misjudged that one and turned via 44 there is what that looks like. So unfortunate for Sean Rogers, who was in position to get some good stage points and stayed out on those tires. Is going to now be buried in the field and definitely has some damage. He's going to have to work on that race car.
Puts us back on yellow. Field now gets ready to check back up and resort itself, but as you said, this works out perfectly for those who stayed out here in terms of getting stage points. So,
Yeah.
get all set up here as some of the drivers talk on the radio.
Yeah, they're debating the stage length here, whether or not they're going to get a one-lap shootout. It doesn't look like we have enough time, so I do believe we're going to get a one-lap shootout for the stage here. But I believe this caution benefits those who pit before greatly. They're going to have less laps on their tires now when they stay out under the stage and flip that yellow with even less tire wear, so they'll be almost at an even tire wear guaranteed to be at the front of the field.
itself sorted out, but it's the 77 in control of the field. Why don't we take the opportunity to speak with that driver of the 77? Kenny Coppola, he'll join us in the broadcast booth. Kenny, do you have a copy?
I got you guys.
How are you feeling now as you're now up at the front of this field?
The clean air feels good. Didn't get the qualifying I wanted, so started mid-pack and just rode around saving tires, and when everybody started having handling issues, I started to go, but this clean air is definitely going to be key tonight.
How difficult is it to try and manage these tires here too, because we've seen people push hard on the short run and then fall back? What's it been like trying to manage those Goodyear Eagles?
It's pretty difficult. 3 and 4 super tight. If you go to the high side too early, you're going to smoke the right rear. I think the 12 tried to come through the field a little bit too quick and easy, started getting loose up into the wall and fell back a little bit. It's really a patience game out here. We got a long race, and saving your tires is definitely going to be crucial for winning tonight.
On that note, what do you think will also be part of the keys to be able to get a victory here tonight?
Track position, staying up in the top 8 to 10 cars, and difficult to get through this field. A lot of good drivers out here.
Once you get back to your team, good luck the rest of the evening here.
Appreciate it.
Coppola should say, we're currently getting all set for the restart. As we get ready to get back going here. He'll start as a controlled car. Paul Gallimore to the outside. Then it's Ruff who jumped to third at the top of the yellow flag here, Jeremy.
Yeah, we're going to get 2 laps here, so they're going to be fighting really hard for those positions. Kenny's going to be hoping for just as good of a restart as he had in the previous one, where he got way ahead of that field, and these guys behind him are going to be hunting for as many points as they can earn.
Come up to the Simrap Market restart zone here. SWM restart zone once again for the field. Green flag is out. Poor start for Wortman Jr. to the gears. The outside gets bogged down as a result. Ruff to second. First driver is taking the pit stop. Up to 10th of note, though, those who pit the previous run getting up to the top 11. Less than 2 laps to go in stage 1.
These guys are fanning out there down the backstretch, looking for any room they can to make up positions here as Kevin Ruff's working the outside line there on the outside of Paul Gallimore. We saw Ruff in the wall several times struggling. He's up here with a chance to get P2 in the stage.
Final lap of stage 1. Right now, couple running away from the field. The battle is on between Ruff and Gallimore. Ruff better boost, clears Foley for second. Big run up to the field by Kane has moved himself in stage points at least for the top 10. Tries the middle to try and gain some more points, but it's the 77 who gets the top amount of points to start things off at stage 1. Ruff, Gallimore, the top 3. Sanders, Davis, better place, Matthews, Carr, Kane, Atwood gets a top 10. There are some drivers running as far as 3 wide. Back of the top 10 running order at the stripe. So it's going to be the 77 of Coppola, who's able to start off on the right foot to win stage 1.
Yeah, an important 10 points there for Kenny, and he's going to be glad he made the decision he made on his strategy. He's going to come down here, take 4 tires, and he shouldn't be too far back in the field, as most of the field was on the same strategy as him. So definitely a lot gained with, I think, very little lost with that pit call.
See where the pit stops now put everyone. Remember, there's going to be on those drivers who just had a pit stop. With the green flag laps, you're talking about a difference of about 3-4 laps possibly on the Goodyear Eagles. Should equalize on the long run, but the short run might see some differential. And this would flip, in theory, Nick King to the top spot, so long as he stays down on the racetrack. Here they come. And indeed, some people will stay out like King. Just took some sets. Norfrag amongst those will be second on track after not being in the conversation for much of this race so far. Of note, Wojciechowski, who did pit during one of the previous caution flags in stage 1, ends up coming down yet again. So some drivers electing to pit a second time for tire sets or fuel.
Yeah, but 8 did come back down. It does look like he just took fuel only, so I guess he just wanted a little more fuel to get to the end of the stage, and not necessarily a terrible call there, Joe. He's good to be secure in the fuel tank.
Comes out right in front of Coppola, should say, for about 15th spot. That's where first in the pit road race goes. So we're under caution here at Charlotte. Moonshiners Racing League continues on with our coverage here on Ballin TV. Just a quick moment. You're watching the OB Builders Cup Series from Charlotte. Welcome back, everyone, to tonight's coverage here from Charlotte. Our coverage of the VanLily's Stickers 300. Nick King for the first time tonight at the front of the field. So far, he showed some good speed on short run at least. And now he'll be tested as the control car. A lot of our drivers gaining a lot of track position with the strategy flip here. That includes Shane Wyatt now in third, Blaine Wilson, who started the backup, now in fourth. Timothy Harper up there as well. Kyle Holden, he's now starting in sixth. Victor Pfluger, he's all the way up to seventh after some of the earlier incident troubles. So he's been able to fix up the car at least to be able to get the track position back. Wilson, your biggest mover over King as they go the upcoming restart. Come up to the SWM restart zone. Voting on a paint scheme to win $12 at the end of this stage. Green flag is out for this one. We raced to lap 90. We're backing away. About 41 laps to work with.
A huge three-wide move to the bottom here. Shane Wyatt, he's going to look to take the lead as they're side-by-side tight at top, but he is clear. What a move out of 23, P1.
King didn't get the fire off he was looking for. And just like that, the dig cars are digging. Wyatt up to the race lead. Now is in full control after a brilliant start from the 23. In fact, 4 of the first 5 cars on the track represent dig, or did for a moment. Kyle Holden amongst those pushing the 19, still side by side for second.
Yeah, good run there on the outside, but the 12 is going to hold him tight to his door, and they're still fighting for a second here. That's what Shane Wyatt wants to see in his mirrors. A little tight in front of them, though. We're going to stack up a little bit here. That 12 is going to be looking to get that lead back.
How's it going to work is the main thing right now. He has the nose clean inside. Wyatt feeding draft to his teammate on the outside line down the straightaways. New fast lap, it goes to Holden. Holden is pushing extremely hard from that 4th position right behind this. and is amongst those using that first seam all the way down for a swooping line, it almost looks like, to the corner. That time didn't take the swoop.
Yeah, they're still fighting side by side here. Holden really not anywhere to go. We'll see if he looks to make it 3 wide here. Still going to just follow in line and let these two try to sort it out for the second place position, as they're almost going to touch fair off of turn 2, and the 19 will catch the outside wall, but they're still going to fight down the back straightaway.
Still not settled down. Right, once again, looking to clear. Getting the run better on the inside, coming off turn 4 at least. Holden has an opportunity to take it middle, doesn't take it. Oh, that time a little too low on entry for the 19-year-old. He swooped into King. Now takes the side draft on exit as he slams the wall and exit.
These two cannot figure this out as they are fighting tough here. It looks like they may finally sort it out here as the 19 is going to slide down in front of the King and the 12. That puts Norfree in second. He'll look to gain time and get to the back bumper of Shane Wyatt for the lead. I don't think King's done yet. He's still looking like he's trying to get back around that 19.
Still working on the other groove. And now working for the race lead. Wyatt slowed down a fair bit off corner exit. Will let King have it? Yes. King takes the lead. Now he's back to the point. Looks like the 23 starting to back her down, or is starting to struggle a little bit, as we are already about 6 laps into the run.
Yeah, Wyatt definitely starting to fall a little bit back here. He lost that clean air now, so that car is going to be handling worse than it was when he was in the lead, and definitely doesn't seem to be holding quite as well as he'd like to, as Nick King stretches out a little bit over Norfree in second, and currently Holden is looking to get around Wyatt for that 3rd position.
Holden able to jump up. Remember, Holden's been pushing hard on short runs so far here tonight. You know who's looking impressive with the moves now? Taylor. He's starting to cut ahead in the BMP car. He's been very sporty all night amongst the top 5 for parts of this race already. He's slowly marching his way ahead on his strategy.
Yes, he is. Definitely starting to come back forward here, and good to see. We saw some really good pace out of him early, and he's just going to keep following the line as we see him working on the back bumper of Tim Harper here, and those two are chasing down Shane Wyatt, who's fallen to the 4th position, as we see some movement in behind him here, as that's Matthews looking to get inside of Blaine Wilson.
Poke to the inside. Timothy Harper leaving some space as a result of that, squished down to the inside by the 9. All of that allows the 9 to run against the blue line. Run the blue line is the mindset that some will scream at you to make sure you stick around that inside groove. This time, Taylor missing the bottom. Harper holds on as Yun drops away side by side. Blaine Wilson with the move.
Yeah, they're going to single file out here down the front straightaway. As I've been noticing at the top of the screen, that 32 car, the blue car back there, he's saving tires. He's starting to get a little bit bigger and bigger in this picture. He's starting to come back forward as Aaron Matthews working the top side. Oh! Almost lost. That's Jeffrey Taylor on the apron. What a save.
That was near disaster for the 9 machine. Gonna cost him a lot of spots with that mistake coming from 6. Got loose off the corner and got some help, but able to save it.
That was a very scary moment for him, and he reflected that on the driver radio, so it's a good thing he kept that car pointed straight. He's going to be able to recover. He's got to let those tires cool down, though. It's one of the biggest things after you have a slide like that, Justin. These things, the tires get really hot in the rear, and they don't want to cool down. You have to really work several laps of taking care of them to get them back to a temperature where we're comfortable.
Absolutely. Still working their way to the inside of recovery is the 9 machine. It's going to take a lot of time to cover all those spots lost from that bobble and slide. Some people still struggling corner exit. And that's one of the main things I've noticed is it's In real life, turn 2 was a big trouble spot. It was Incident City coming off of turn 2 where drivers would snap and hit that wall.
Yeah, we definitely saw it a lot in the real race here. Quite loose on the exits. We even saw it out of turn 4 as well. Definitely more so out of turn 2, but there was some notable drivers like Kyle Larson, even in the real world, he couldn't hold it off the exit of turn 4. So it's just really hard to do here. And these guys are doing quite well at it. We've seen a few people get loose this evening, but mostly across the board, everyone's doing a great job as Coffee gets a huge run on the top of 3 and 4 to the outside of Corey Moore.
Coffee also, once those recovering from damage, able to fix much of his repairs now on that car. Just continuing to search for clean air as his tires come into form right now. It's George Smeets. Now the next one up for his order. Orders a move. Smeets instead drags the outside wall. The 54 makes the move. Also some big troubles. Norfray all of a sudden has fallen off. They've been running second moments ago. The 19 is amongst those that have just fallen into the clutches of the edge of the top 10. He's fallen off a cliff.
Yeah, that driver lost about 7 positions in 1 lap there, and he's just hit the wall down the straightaway now. This is not what the 19 wants to be seeing out the rear windshield or out the front as well. So 5's all over the back bumper, packing some air. It's going to make that car handle even more poorly, and he's going to be side by side still with Victor Fluger down there in the 43, who's recovered from some of his damage. So a lot of guys coming to look for a position here on the 19. He's just seemingly holding these up too, as you can see the gap forming in front of him as these cars attempt to pass him.
Time left to go in the stage, keep in mind, and this is going to be tough for those who pushed hard too early. And that's the tough thing. There are a lot of drivers, myself included, I'll be honest, that they don't realize they're pushing until it's right about that cliffing point, and it's like, oh no, I pushed to be able to keep up. This is now disaster.
Yeah, it's all a game of who can drive slow the fastest. I've used that a lot, but it truly is the best way to describe what's going on in the cockpit of these race cars. You have to run as slow as you can to maintain those tires while also maintaining as much back. Oh, we're going to be 4 wide. Wow, what a moment there as Coffee shot that small gap and Cox cleared them all on the bottom. That was dangerous, Justin.
Extremely risky and treacherous. Coffee now trying to find his way to get alongside Matthews. All on the 19 continues to bleed spot after spot. Gallimore also taking advantage. More wall scrapes down the back straightaway yet again by some of those drivers as they run through. Yeah, that 19 just can't get rotation off. It can't stick at the bottom. Struggling top side. Just struggling everywhere right now.
Yeah, it's not just one thing that leads to that. There's multiple things he could have done that have led to this condition. He could have been turning the wheel far too hard and shredding the right front tire. He could have been using too much throttle, which, believe it or not, could also shred the right front tire, because if you're driving off the corner and you have a lot of wheel and you're hitting the gas too hard, while the rear's obviously going to be spinning, you're also going to be pushing that right front harder into the ground across the banking. So definitely going to need to alter a driving style moving forward, as he doesn't want to be falling through the field like this, I can assure you. And always just such a frustrating thing as a driver to be the slowest car on the track, and it feels like everything you do is wrong right now.
Especially with how things go around this racetrack, absolutely. Coppola able to make up in their spot. Coppola now up. All of this, wow, the race lead has been taken over by Kyle Holden all of a sudden. That's in the past moments or so as King just dropped off on the last couple straightaways. Holden now starting to pull away and looking like he's found some rhythm here on this long run, as King may have chewed up his stuff early.
Yeah, we see Wortman Jr. back up here in the second position as well. He's been hanging around tough tonight. I'm really excited to see what he can do moving forward and see if he can get that car a little better. He's got a real shot to win this thing with what I've seen out of him. And Holden's just picking off where you left off in the All-Star race. I mean, he's leading the laps and he's up front. He's contending. Here's the 32, and he just cracked the top 10, and he's still got time to gain some more.
Cox has been impressive whenever we've seen him, tonight at least. He seems to be taking his time, though, since the pit stop sequence to make up for lost ground. Right now, in 9th position, just slowly marching ahead here in the 32.
Yeah, he is definitely moving forward. He's got to the back bumper of Timothy Harper here, and he just wraps that bottom so well, and he's just able to make it work, and he's so fast, and these guys that have to move up the racetrack to find speed right now, they just can't do anything to defend him because they can't run his line.
And our spot gate now on Harper. Right now, Toyota is controlling much of the front of the field, but the caution flag waves. Caution is out at its front straight away. Chris Davis and multiple others are around, and we're under yellow. Those drivers were running in the 20s at the start and finish line.
Yes, and then it's going to be terminal for a couple of our drivers here. I do see the 25, 20, and 16 seem to have what looks to be terminal damage this evening as we take a look at our RS Button Box's replay.
Right there. Wow. And Christensen got some of the worst of it from what we see. A lot of cars getting stacked up. Greg Carr, Jameson, Middle Miss, also significant damage.
Yeah, the 91 of Atwood did take responsibility for this incident over the radio and apologized to his competitors. That was quite a big hit for a few, and we're going to take an onboard look here at this incident.
Ow is what is said on the radio. RS Button Boxes replay once again for that one. Some of the drivers reporting their wheels more than 90 degrees around. That includes Johnny Shade, who did not get a meatball flag, but will have to definitely come down, get some damage repair done to their car. We're about halfway through stage 2 as a result of this caution flag, by the way. And not seeing really any splits. This is where the tire set conservation really has to come into play. Normally in an official race, you might say, absolutely, let's do this. But not in this one. Remember, with only the 5 tire sets in the pit lane, leaves you really close on tire sets if you burn an extra set in this stage.
Yeah, definitely need to save the set here. I just been taking a look at the record on my own. I just got to comment. I feel so bad for Jameson Middlemiss. I feel like every week we see him caught up in something none of his own doing. He almost had this one missed and just barely got caught on the right front, and that's ruined his night as his race is over, unfortunately.
Yes, absolutely. So more drivers in for service as a result of the situation. A couple drivers did take some tires, it looks like. 2 for good measure to their pit stop sequences here. So things are looking solid so far for Holden and company. Impressive this second stage after falling back, pushing to get up to the front of the last stage. This one he hasn't had to push so hard, and he's been able to showcase the raw speed.
Yeah, he's had a lot of that speed. So obviously Matt Cox is coming forward there. This caution gives a bit of a reset to Holden, though, because his tires are going to cool down. Heat cycles help those that were running a little bit harder on their tires, as the temperature almost matters more than the wear. So for the first several laps, when they're at lower temperatures, they'll be at almost no deficit. As we take 1 degree here, we're going to be restarting next time by.
Holden, Coppola, Wyatt, Wilson, Pfeffer, or Fluger should say, Cox, Harper, and Sanders, Shane Davis, and Coffey, your top 10 at the scoring loops. I think some of those drivers still trying to sort themselves because Jordan Smeet may not have been in the right spot in the lineup. And we'll have to see how the approach is. It is a short sprint to the end of stage 2, Jeremy.
Yes, this will be a short sprint as we will end this stage on lap 90, so we'll have just a little over 10 laps to go when we take the green flag here. Those guys are going to definitely be aware of that. We should see some more aggressive driving off of this restart, and not that we weren't seeing aggressive driving before. We saw a 4-wide moment with Alex Coffey, but expect even more of those gaps to be taken here. Just
about ready to fly here. once we get to the Simrat Market restart zone. Simrat Market car, just funnily enough, that's ready to bring the Comic Sans up to the race lead. Kapow, like the number logo. Ready to fire. Green flag goes out. Timed up with Wyatt. Back underway as the top two restart perfectly.
Yeah, great start for those guys on the bottom as they're going to get clear for 1-2. Kenny's going to be up there and fighting for holding on to that third position, but Victor Pfluger's looking to be inside of him. I do believe he's going to hold them off though, and they'll be clear single file throughout the top 5 as they look off the back of Kyle Holden.
Peek to the inside by the 77. Coppola looking for second. Can't get the side trap down, but he's able to keep it to the numbers and keep it to the door. Now tries to go underneath Holden, battling side by side for the race lead.
They are going to be side by side here looking for the lead as we have a caution in the back of the field. I believe it started with the 34 of Brandon Fetterface, but he actually kept it straight and then they wrecked underneath him. Quite a few guys piled in there. I don't know quite who. Looks like Kyle Holden held on to the lead in that battle.
Back under yellow and 34, Team Arrow had been running 15th to start things off on the lap. Keep an eye on the RS button box's replay as good save, then bam!
Just nowhere to go for most of those around him. Everybody actually kept it straight. I believe the A card just got enough sideways for iRacing to throw a caution here, but everybody did a really good job keeping this thing from getting a lot worse than it could have been. When cars are at sideways, it could always pile in a lot more, but everybody does a good job, and I think everybody should be okay from that one.
And it comes in an awkward time for the stage. Should see most of the field stay out here, but we'll see if there's any strategize. Take a quick break. Ballin TV has your coverage tonight of this evening's action. The OB Builders Cup Series continues. The VanLily's Stickers 300 from Charlotte is still live after this. Welcome back to tonight's coverage of the OB Builders Cup Series. Moonshiners Racing League coverage continuing from Charlotte. Getting set to go with under 10 laps to go in stage 2 as this race goes by pretty quickly. It's Holden, it's Coppola, it's Wyatt and Fluger on the front 2 rows. Heading to the Simrap Market restart zone. Green flag is out. Oh, there was some issues with the 77. Big checkups as a result off the fire. Still able to get some speed down off to turn 1 and 2. Holden able to hold on for single file.
Good run there for Holden on the bottom. Kenny Coppola and Shane Wyatt side by side looking for seconds. Oh, somebody's turned there in the background. That's Atwood in the 91. Hit the outside the ball hard. We're going to stay green as Coppola's looking for the lead under Holden.
Sorts of chaos, all sorts of it. Still side by side up front. Multiple rows deep, including for the race lead. 3 wide and hot of the field. Holden losing the lead to Coppola coming through turn 2. The 77 slides in front to take the lead up in front.
Yeah, great move by Coppola there to get the lead here and starting the stretch away. It would be huge for him if he can win both stages here. As that was one of the drivers we covered at the beginning of the show. He's down there on that cut line battle. He needs these points.
These drivers keeping it very aggressive here with 6 to go in the stage. How about wall riding the outside off? Fluger just about peeled the entire wrapping off his car. Coffee amongst those now in the top 6 is up there too. Shane Davis, for the first time all race, has joined the conversation. He's up in 3rd. Jordan Smeets too.
32 of Matt Cox lurking behind Schmeets, working a move to the inside. He's going to be coming up on Shane Davis. Shane Davis has done a great job working his way into position. He's been quiet so far this evening, but he finds his way to the front just as he always does.
Some more scrambling in the heart of the field yet again. How about 3 wide? The 9 to the inside. The 83 with a better run middle. Wortman Jr. just about runs the back of the aero car of Sanders. All while up front, it's on for 2nd. Davis sends it hard. Shane Davis takes over 2nd. Holden, it's fading.
Yeah, great move there by Davis with some help from Matt Cox behind him as Cox is going to be working over Kyle Holden now for that 3rd position. He'll clear him down into turn 3. The 59 is going to look to slide in behind him as the 32 slides up the racetrack and takes that position. Oh, he hit the wall.
Had some more troubles there with the wall, but we continue green. Plenty of laps to work with for the race overall, but not many in the stage. Coming up to 2 laps to go in the stage. Cox overtakes for 3rd. Slams the door. Battles on for the race lead as Wortman Jr. just passes Holden like he's standing still.
Wortman's been flying in the middle lane of this racetrack. That car is absolutely hooked up and sticking when he runs the middle in 3 and 4. That's how he's gotten to this position. He's going to move to the outside of Cox and clear him for P3. He's going to be working for P2 here down the back straightaway. He is flying.
He pit under the last caution flag. He's about 13 laps into a stint right now. Aaron Matthews is on the same call. Wortman Jr. takes the lead in the stage. Coming up to the white flag in stage number 2. The 83 trying something different, willing to burn a set to get to the point.
Yeah, we've seen him be fast all night. He's using those tires to capitalize on that speed as we see Aaron Matthews working on the same strategy back here behind him. Close moment between the 32 and 79 there. As Matthews is on the inside, he's going to look to clear both of these guys down into turn 3.
Coming through turn 4, Tim Wortman Jr. picks up the stage, wins stage number 2. Coppola in 2nd, Matthews 3rd, Jan and Kane the top 5. Cox also up there. In 6th, Shane Davis, Jordan Smeets, Kyle Holden, Alex Coffey amongst your top 10 at the end of the stage. Interesting strategy call, but that leaves him down a set for the rest of the way, Jeremy.
Yeah, I'm assuming he's going to stay out here and just be on older tires or just restart, and then he'll have the same amount of sets left. He'll just be at a disadvantage for the first run in the final stage. But if he goes green to the end, that could be quite a significant disadvantage, especially considering this is a car that's been really fast tonight. I think was a contender to win the race, and I say was, I still think he is a contender to win the race if the cautions fall the right way. But if he stays out here and we go green to the end, it's going to be really tough for him to keep that track position.
So now we get set to go. We'll talk to Wortman Jr. after pit stop sequences here. Let's see what he has happened here if he elects to come down after already being about 14, 15 laps to extend on the tires. If he does take that risk, as Jeremy did say, that is an option. And the answer is he's going to be just choosing to go down the set and choose the track position. He comes down.
Yeah, he kind of forced his hand into the situation with it being the final stage of the race. Can't really start at disadvantage, so I think he's making the right decision here to come take these tires, but he's just really got to hope that there's no yellows the rest of the way. Or no extra yellows late, that is.
Yes. No extra yellows that put you in a disadvantage for the rest of the way and put you in defense mode. For the most part, everybody staying on except for a couple: Jose Medina, Jared Clark, Timothy Harper. Monsters who stayed out this window. Race off pit road. Wortman Jr. and already a speeding penalty. Shane Davis just got an EOL. You just see it pop at the top of the screen. So he did not keep himself under the speed limit on the fire off in the box.
Yeah, it's not good for him. He worked his way all the way back through the track position. It took him the whole night to get there, really. We didn't see him for much of this evening. He's going to have to do it all over again.
So the Warrior Racing Machine of Tim Wortman Jr. won stage 2. Let's see if we can talk with Tim. Tim, do you have a copy?
What's going on, guys?
How are you feeling about the car after picking up the stage win on that strategy?
Feeling pretty good about it. I think I over-adjusted for some tightness in stage 1, and I was feeling a little loose there, so figured I'd come in and do a little tweak and put some 4 freshies on there and see how get everything right for the last stage.
How tricky will this be to keep the track position now, because you have 3 cars on older tires, but also we've seen you fade. How are you going to try and counter that fade we've seen from you in stage 1?
I think that I've already taken the tightness out of the car, and you'll see me, I may fade back here a little bit at the beginning for a long run, and just to save the tires. That's what I usually do on a long run, and we'll see if they throw us any cautions here or not to have to run harder. So we're going to start off saving tires. We'll probably fall back, 5th, 10th, and hopefully drive back by them after lap 35.
Let's get back for the restart here. Good luck.
Thank you.
Warrior OHP machine of Wortman Jr. will start in 4th for this upcoming restart. With 3 staying out here, this could get dicey, Jeremy.
Yeah, definitely going to be at a bit of a disadvantage for the cars that stayed out here, and they're going to have to really just be patient here. We're going to be getting swallowed up by this field rather quickly, so just trying to keep your car pointed forward. And if your guys overtaking these guys just because you have fresh tires, don't run them over. Make sure you take care of your race car as well.
Getting ready for the restart. Again, coming up to Simrap Market restart zone. And remember, we'll now be getting the chance once cars get going to vote on the best designs available tonight. Winner gets $12 to Simrap Market. Medina up front. Good restart as it's side by side for second as expected. Wortman Jr. losing ground though as the outside line slows down rapidly.
Yeah, nowhere really to go here. He gets to the bottom. Cox looking to be inside, though not quite there. Wortman's going to be able to seal that off as Tim Harper takes the lead on those older tires. Aaron Matthews up to 3rd, looking to be inside for 2nd of Medina.
First on the newer tires, and it's now a bump trap party on the bottom. The 5 clears on by and gets himself to second for now. Great restart for Harper, but for how long?
Yeah, really good restart for him. He's way out front right now, so he's got a tire disadvantage, as we know, so he's going to hope that they hold on as long as they can. Having the clean air is going to be the best bet for them to hold on. As you see right there, for 21 into the fence, he's falling backwards quickly, and I don't think it's going to be too long before Harper loses the lead, just seeing the way this is playing out.
So 2 by 2 as this field continues on here. Matthews pressurizing for the race lead, some scrambling to the very back of the field. But all this as well, some drivers get themselves back going. Holden lost some ground during the pit stop sequence. Looking to battle for the top 10 car in the wall. It's the 14 that's not up that happy on the radio. We stay green.
Yeah, very upset over the radio with, I believe, Sean Rogers in the 44, so not what he wanted to have happen there. He at least still going forward, but heavy damage for him.
Take a look at our button box replay for a moment. Right there.
Yeah, 44 just didn't really cut much of a break there. 14 was definitely a little bit slower, but kind of just didn't lift when he probably could have, and I understand the frustration. If you're Kevin Ruff, you gotta hope for a yellow now.
Oh, trouble! There's the caution! And it comes out in the middle of the back straightaway, involving the Kyle Larson paint scheme. Jared Clark. He had been amongst those who stayed out, dropped back to 16th, and got some help for the yellow.
Yes, he was one of the drivers that did stay out, so he's gonna be, you know, if he doesn't have too much damage, I guess it's kind of worked out for him, but if he's got a lot of damage, this is not what he wanted to see. He just got turned there, though. Nothing he did wrong. The 8 car just turned him. You know, Justin, this might not be the worst thing in the world for him.
Yeah, he was going to drop back there regardless, probably, on that strategy. But it wasn't looking good on the corner exit. You can see him trying to stick to the high side, bouncing off the walls, in fact.
Yeah, he just got turned there. And, I mean, yeah, he didn't hit anything, so, I mean, I don't think he's probably got too much damage, so he'll be fine. He's probably going to come down and take tires, obviously, after a big spin like that and being on the older tires. Saw a little bit of right front damage there, but I think that was from hitting the wall before, and he'll get that repaired when he pits here.
That puts us under caution. Remember, we do have a contest to talk about here as these drivers come down, some of them for pit stop sequences in service. We do have 3 drivers picked out that we want you, the fans, to vote for, starting here in the next couple moments. The drivers we'd like to put on screen for that voting opportunity during the pit stop sequence. We'll start things off with the number 5, Aaron Matthews. He's driving an all-belt sheet metal paint scheme tonight. He's your first paint scheme option for the 3 finalists that can win a $12 gift card for Sim Wrap Market. Ready the red, white, and blue for the 5. Your second choice here tonight for that contest features the 42, Corey Moore. Corey Moore, also with the red, white, and blue, took a different take on it though. All with the spiraling precision logo that really pops on the hood of those cars. Your third option tonight, the 44. That is Sean Rogers. Sean Rogers. He also went with red, white, and blue, but with blue numbers, in contrast to the other competitors. Bring the stars all over the car for BMP. 3 different teams, 3 different paint schemes. Be sure to put your vote in by commenting who you think should win a $12 gift card to SimWrap Market today and now. To see who will win that competition, we'll see who wins by the end of the race. So we are currently pacing around the racetrack and getting ready for a restart sequence once again. Harper still maintaining up front, not interestingly enough. That's despite being on 12 lap older tires here on this strategy, Jeremy.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many of those we ran under green. I have to go back and look. I would be willing to bet that we ran a little over half of those under green. So, you know, obviously a tire disadvantage, not too terrible when you have clean air. As long as he holds on to the clean air, he's going to be in okay shape here. It's just what I'm concerned about as he gets passed by some of these drivers with fresher tires, how his car will hold up in the dirty air at that disadvantage.
Absolutely. See along the 56 last up here. Middle miss of note, one of the only drivers left on meatball flags, getting repairs done. All set to go for the Simrap Market restart zone. Harper ready to control things up at the front of the point. Less than 100 laps to go, still one stopper to the end. Green flag is out, back underway. Good restart for the 56.
Yeah, great launch there by Tim Harper, and that's what he needs with those older tires. Obviously, the heat cycle with this restart was going to help him out as a little bit as well, as his tires got another opportunity to cool down even more and get a little bit, you know, air let out, come down in pressure. So the Coppola, though, is clear to second. We've seen him be really quick on those short runs all evening.
Sorting things out here, including the 56. 54, should say, of coffee. Get some good speed built up from the 8th position as they turn on the racetrack. So moves back down to the bottom of the racetrack and settles back down near the run. Trouble for the race lead. A bump. Harper got loose off of 2. The 77 took all the air off the spoiler.
Yeah, and that's what you need to do if you're Kenny. You gotta pack some air on him, get him uncomfortable, and that's how you're gonna take this position. He's in the preferred position to pass now on the outside lane. Nothing Tim Harper can do on those older tires. Kenny Coppola to the lead.
Coppola able to take the point just like that. Interesting move, to say the very least, to be able to make that pass, but here we are. Harper still gonna try and fight it back, though. Keeps his foot in it, up on the top. Too much foot in it, nearly pushed in the wall.
Yeah, he's still fighting really hard on the outside. Those tires are holding up better than I thought. He was able to come back at him. Really impressed with Tim Harper right now. The ability to come back at Kenny Coppola, even with older tires, after getting cleared like that. He's going to have to run down the back straightaway as Aaron Matthews is pushing Kenny Coppola on the inside.
Got a squeeze and a caution. Back under yellow, Matt Macklin has gone around. Yeah, we're under yellow. He was running 19th.
We need to get an onboard with the 91 car in this crash, because that is the closest I have ever seen somebody come to missing a wreck at that speed.
RS Button Box's replay. I think that's on Macklin. He started drifting down the dotted lines, but look out. That was close.
I just can't understand. I can't believe what must have been going through Nicholas Atwood's head right here. He is counting his. I just don't even know. What a move to get down the racetrack, and I just barely missed that crash. That's remarkable.
Tries to keep his foot in it. Gap, gap, gap. Look out. Don't think he lifted once.
Yeah, he couldn't really afford the lift. He was committed at that point. I know we have a hit of the week award in this league. I think we need a avoidance of the week, because this is the avoidance of the year right here. And just what great decision making too, like to recognize that car was coming up the racetrack and he had to get down. He couldn't stay committed to the top like he was.
Very dangerous moment, to say the very least. Let's take a break. Under 100 to go. You're watching the VanLily's Stickers 300 here on Ballin TV. Welcome back to tonight's coverage here on Ballin TV of the OB Builders Cup Series. Votes slowly trickling on in for the VanLily's Stickers 300 contest winner for that Simrap Market gift card. So, one of those contestants curling to the outside of the front row with this caution flag. We did see Timothy Harper hit from the lead, a restart instead in 19th position. He was outside the window to make it on gas if it stayed green. Simrap Market restart zone. Green flag is out. Outside line doesn't go. Yet again, it's the inside control car with a big boost.
Yeah, a huge launch there for Kenny Coppola. The inside line's all going to clear here. We'll see Wortman from 5th to P3 with that. The outside lane really struggling on this restart. Nick King finally finds a spot in line there in 4th, but he's going to be under attack from Warren Young.
Warren Young, we haven't mentioned that name much all night. He's been having a solidly quiet evening now in the top 6. Medina dropping back amongst those who are still sticking it out on older tires, hoping for a little bit more of a longer run for the track position game. So far, that 48 not getting the good quarter exit speed it needs to keep up. A lot of people checking up with the gear shift behind him.
They're definitely stacking up here down the straightaway. You see the 43 Victor Fluger throwing in the middle line. We've seen a few guys do that this evening. There just seems to be a lot of grip up there, but I'm sure it can't be too good on your tires running that hard through the center of the corner, but I don't think he quite cares right now as he's going to pick up 2 positions making that work.
See the outside coming for the 43. Fluger. Surprised Fluger's been running so well after the incident. He's been able to recover from what's happened this race. Good job with the recovery drive as now the 48 really starting to feel the pain on those tires. They've reached the cleffing point.
Yes, they have, and he is definitely struggling right now as we see Jeffrey Taylor recovering from his big slide earlier on his outside tight. The 48 there got really close to his left rear. He's going to be able to pull in line right there, though, in front of Kyle Holden, who's also working his way back towards the front of the field as Brandon Fetterplace makes a move to the inside of him.
Yes, indeed, a lot of people trying to find their way quickly around that 48 and fast. Fairplay's giving him some brakes in the aero car, backs up, all while Holden makes the move to the outside, easily to the outside for the pass. And this is the tough thing when you have a car like Medina trying to choose lines, try to sort themselves out here, try to stay out of the way, is when you're side by side like this, there's only so much you can do.
Yeah, there's nowhere really to go. You can try to make that 3rd lane work. We've seen 4 wide at some point tonight, but early in this run, you're trying to take care of your equipment. You don't really want to force the issue that hard as we see Warren Young slipping backwards here behind Alex Coffey now. So Coffey up into the top 5 as we see Tim Wortman Jr. looking to the inside of Aaron Matthews. This is for the 2nd position. These two still working side by side here down the back straightaway. Fighting really tough here. We see Nick King looking off the back of them as well, currently in the 4th position. Alex Coffey working there, P5. He'll run the top side here for 1 and 2. Wortman and King to the bottom. Coffey's going to build a big run down the backstretch with that wider arc, a lot straighter of an exit. Not really going to have anywhere to go with it here, though. Not quite enough of a run to get to Nick King. We see back here Victor Fluger leading Jeffrey Taylor and Warren Young still in the 1 car, and Jordan Schmeets in the 22. I just wanted to let everyone know we are experiencing some technical difficulties with Justin Prince right now, so I am going to be calling this on my own for a few moments, so do apologize for that. But we currently have Jeffrey Taylor working on the outside line here. He's going to get clear of that position. that machine working his way forward back to P6 after his big slide earlier. Quite a recovery for him. We see up there in front of him, still looking to move forward, is Alex Coffey. As the top five have kind of all condensed in on each other here under a blanket. See Coffey looking a little bit to the outside there, nothing really to go. Aaron Matthews also closing in on Coppola for the lead with some help from Wortman and Nick King in behind. Single file throughout most of the field right now. Aaron Matthews gets closer and closer every corner right now. Missed the bottom there just a little. He's going to push through center. It's going to give Wortman a chance to get to his inside, but he's going to look to the outside actually with a big round on the exit. They're side by side for a second. Let's see what King does here. King's going to follow Wortman to the outside. That's not good for Matthews. That's how you get stuck on the bottom and you start getting trained by everybody on the outside, as we touched on earlier this season. And look at that Taylor up there to the inside of Coffey. Now he's going to come out and try to push Aaron Matthews. He can get to him. Not quite, though. Nick King and Tim Wortman Jr. both clear Aaron Matthews. He falls back to the fourth position. Alex Coffey working the outside line now. He's got enough of a run to almost get to the outside there. Just can't quite do it. He's going to cut back underneath in the tri-oval here of Aaron Matthews in the 5. He clears him before we even get into the corner, which leads Taylor to the inside of the 5. A horrid lap there for Matthews. He loses 3 positions, and now he's looking to lose a 4th. They're still running side by side back here, looking at these positions here. Kyle Holden and Barry Sanders. Very impressive run here for Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders this evening. He's been hanging around the top 10 quite a bit. Kyle Holden there behind him. We saw him leading laps earlier. Obviously a great run last week in the All-Star race, coming home with that. He's going to be looking to the bottom, trying to recapture some of that speed that he had a week ago. Sean Rogers in there behind him. That's one of your finalists this evening in the fan vote for this paint scheme to win the, I believe, $12 that we're giving away for that here. He'll be running in the 11th position. Behind him, Brandon Fetterplace in the 34 looks to hold off Schmitz, who's following backwards actually, and on his outside, that's Tim Harper. Tim Harper was up front earlier on an alternate strategy. He has the freshest tires in the field, and he's starting to come forward on that strategy. See Holden still fighting off with Sean Rogers side by side. Barry Sanders is driven away from this group. He's starting to catch the group in front of him. That's Victor Fluger just in front of him. As they're still side by side behind Rogers now, as Kyle Holden is falling backwards. See Fetterplace on the outside line, still trying to hold off that position. He's going to get that now. Holden has got nothing he can do, as here comes Tim Harper on the outside. Shane Wyatt in behind him. Fetterplace on the bottom there. It's going to give some dirty air to Holden. He's going to lose even more time. That's going to let Harper clear him. He's going to try to slide up in here and stop the bleeding in front of Shane Wyatt. That's the 13th position. Wyatt's going to get to the outside, though. He's not satisfied in 14th. He wants E13 from Kyle Holden. Oh, tight moment there. Harper was just barely clear of the 59 as he cut down in the trial there. See Shane Wyatt a little bit loose on entry as well as he worked that middle seam. He's not able to get the run he wants on Kyle Holden. Looks like Holden's found a spot in the line here as Shane Wyatt's going to look to the inside of him. Meanwhile, in front of them, Tim Harper looks to the inside of Brandon Fetterplace. Harper's clear. Meanwhile, Wyatt pushes, and here comes Schmitz to the back bumper. Schmitz is going to look to the outside of Wyatt as it looks like somebody got into the wall behind them. I believe that was the 8 of Laskowski. And just behind them, another one of our finalists in the fan vote this evening, Corey Moore. We head out back up front here. Alex Coffey's moved into the 3rd position, followed by Nick King and Jeffrey Taylor. We see Aaron Matthews rounding out the 6 cars that have kind of broken away and separated themselves from the field here.
Everyone trying to keep themselves in full swing, to say the very least here, Jeremy. It's going to be important to make sure you time yourself during this run. You're expected potentially go as late as 50 laps to go after all, if you want to make it to the very end on fuel comfortably for a lot of these teams.
Yeah, we're definitely trying to get to that fuel window now, and I did just want to hit it. It does look like we lost Caden Norfrey to a connection loss, so unfortunately it's going to bring an early end to his evening, as these guys are still fighting for positions. Victor Fluger and Warren Young, this is a battle for P8.
All trying to get themselves cleared off the corner right now. still, it's about trying to sort out how far you can get without overexerting the car at this point. As mentioned, the competition level high here tonight. Matt Cox making a move, Wojciechowski going the wrong way. And this is where we also see some strategy splits coming a little bit. Some of these drivers split up as much as 16 laps on tires compared to those at the front of the field.
Yeah, that's where you see Tim Harper right now up the P9. You see the stint lengths here. Actually, Barry Sanders, sorry, I made a mistake earlier. I did not realize Barry Sanders on the tire strategy well up to 7th. That's where a lot of that speed's coming from for the 81, so he's been working forward. We're looking back here at Shane Wyatt, Kevin Ruff, Matt Cox. Don't quite know what's happened to Cox here, as this is a little bit deeper in the running order than I think he would typically want to be, even for saving tires. So I don't know if he's trying to save fuel to hit a fuel number, or if he's just kind of lost the pace on that 32 or what, but we'll see if he can recover.
See how far they can go up front. Matthews amongst those trying to regain some ground a little bit here. He's battling with Nick King. King able to get the boost on the outside. Good speed showcased by that car. The Warrior Racing Machine looking very good. But we'll have a caution to regroup. Another yellow. It's the 14 around on the front straightaway.
Yeah, that's Kevin Ruff in the 14. Looked like he had some contact with possibly Matthew Cox in the 32. And the 91 of Nicholas Atwood once again just barely missed this one. He has had an interesting evening.
So the roughness continues for Kevin Ruff. See what sparked this time. He's had a few incidents here tonight. Smeet's involved in this one.
Yeah, he got turned there by Smeets. 32 actually did a great job diving to the inside. As you see, the 91 just barely missed him to the top there. So good job by Matthew Cox to avoid that, and everybody else as well avoiding that crash. Could have been a lot worse than it was for Kevin Ruff.
The RS Button Boxes replay will take another look. Laser focused on what was outside the windshield. Nicholas Atwood yet again having to take a bit of a dodge. He's already had one or two this race. Oh, this one was tight.
Yeah, I think they need to stop wrecking in front of this guy and cut him a break, because, I mean, he's done that twice now tonight, and just really impressive driving by Nicholas Atwood, and obviously he has a great understanding of his surroundings and what's going on in front of the race car.
Ruff and Munstels just stayed out for now, but he's 12 laps down. This has brought the entire field down for some tire sets. Interesting timing for this here too. It is right on the window's very edge on fuel, I think, Jeremy.
Yeah, this is going to be really close on that number, so a lot of these guys, obviously everybody had the pit here. It made the most sense to make that decision, so going to be seeing some fuel saving, probably some people pushing, might be somebody that commits really early, say, I'm going to make that extra stop and I'm going to hope it's faster.
Well, the junior got the edge on pit road in the race. That was all the way down at the green cone, set up right at the end of the pit boxes for the 83. Reminder once again to vote for your favorite paint scheme here tonight. Those paint schemes again are your 5, 42, and 44 cars here this evening. So far, it's the 42 that's got the edge in that competition. One vote also going to the 5 so far, 0 for the 44. Again, be sure to say who you want to win a $12 gift card to SimWrap Market here tonight. Vote with your favorite number to say who you want up at the front. That's the 45, but point taken on paint schemes. A lot of patriotic schemes this weekend. This week, should say.
Yeah, always a fun week at Charlotte, getting to see all the special schemes with the red, white, and blue. Usually some really good looking race cars, and definitely no shortage of them tonight, as it was tough to narrow it down to those 3.
Coming up to a restart. Track tip hasn't really dropped that much, interestingly enough, it stayed hot actually. The air temperature stayed fairly up as well, so that's partly with the humidity also factoring in here too, it seems, here tonight, even with sun cover. So getting set to go right at the edge of the pit window. Wortman Jr. and Coppola on your front row. Taylor alongside Coffey, King, and Matthews. Sanders and alongside him, Harper. Coming up to the Simrap Market restart zone yet again. Fire off coming up from the 83. Green flag is out. Good start this time with the 77, but it's still a better one for the 83.
Yeah, it's a really good launch there for Wortman Jr. as this strategy has kind of evened itself out for him now. So I believe he did take tires there, so he still is a set down on everybody, but definitely worked out to where he's leading the race on the even strategy for the moment.
Coppola trying to find a way to get to the stick on the high side. Nearly knocks the wall down instead. Taylor able to keep alongside for second. Yet again, the 77 forced to try and send it deeper out of the box. Coffey trying to find some clean air high side against the wall. Oh, a slide by Harper. Harper holds on to it. We stay green.
Harper came really close to losing that race car there, but he did a great job holding on and keeping it forward, as he did lose all his track position, but he maintained the car, and that's what matters most in that situation, as they're side by side for the lead. Kenny Coppola looking to be inside it. Tim Wortman Jr.
It's again another poke. Coppola now to the release lead, but here's Coffey. The Dig Esports entries going for it all on the outside. Wortman Jr. quick on the inside on the short run, however. They still battle it out for second a little bit. Inside the window to make it the rest of the way. Some drivers no longer thinking about saving. They want the point.
Yeah, they definitely are looking to get to the lead here, as we see Alex Coffey there on the outside of Wortman. He's going to get clear for P2, and his sights will be set forward on the 77 there of Kenny Coppola.
Here he goes for the outside. Race lead. Coffey takes the point at the stripe. Now looks to get the job done from the outside of the Carpy's car. Squeeze off by Coffey. He clears. Race lead, Alex Coffey.
Yeah, you saw the Tim Wortman car there pushing him down that straightaway. He's going to get to the outside of Coppola because of that. He's got Nick King following him behind him now, doing the same. Working that draft down the straightaway, helping each other move forward.
A lot of drivers moving up to the second groove to gain track position at this point. Others just trying to keep the tire saving game up in play. King, he now looks his way for second. Looks like Coffey trying to save hard on the inside now that he's got the point. Trying to park the bus in front of the field as King tries to fall behind the 54 on the straightaway at least.
You see King here slowly making that outside work. Gets to the outside of Wortman himself now. That's for second position as Coffey leads. He'll clear Wortman and see if he can get a run on Coffey now.
There goes King. He's got a run. Coffey pushed up the track. Now King nearly lost into the corner, but still gets it alongside for the lead.
Side by side down the back straightaway at Charlotte. He's going to file in back there behind the 54. Can't find a way around just yet. Wortman taking a look to the inside. You see the 12 accelerated through the middle of the corner to protect that position. Matthews has moved the 4th around the outside of Coppola. We're going to be side by side for second once again.
Another peak by the 83. They continue to play the strategy games. Most of these drivers of the conversation have stayed in the conversation all throughout the night tonight. Keen's been a consistent name. Coffee now is amongst the difference makers that hasn't been consistently up front. Coffee getting poked underneath by Wortman Jr. yet again for the lead.
Wortman looking for a point again. He's been very strong this evening. Obviously qualified on the pole, which is a great show. The amount of speed that he has built into that car. He's going to be side by side with Coffee here down the back straightaway with the preferred line on the bottom going into 3 and 4, but it's tough to complete that pass. He's just barely clear. Take it, Tim.
Tim Wortman Jr. does take it. Retakes the race lead yet again. Now they try and sort themselves again. All this is allowed 2 more players to join the conversation, by the way. That's not including Matthews. Jeffrey Taylor, Victor Pfluger. Been able to close in and rejoin the conversation in this pack as they almost sort themselves out here. And Matthews not afraid to run the high side. For the time being, Coffee might have chewed up some of his tires.
Yeah, we saw Coffee pushing really hard at the beginning of the run, so definitely a possibility that he ate them up a little bit. I don't know if he's banking on making it to the end on fuel, or if he was one of those guys, like I mentioned, might be just pushing all out this run, looking to split it in half here with a stop under green as they're crashing in the back.
Caution flag is out yet again. Another one, and this time Warren Young is involved. We haven't had too many long green flag runs here tonight. And another yellow flag pops up here, Jeremy.
Yeah, I think Warren Young went around in the back straightaway. Don't believe he hit anything, so another one of these spins and no damage should be fine. We'll take a look at what happened here on the RS button boxes replay.
Keep an eye on the run from the 18 inside. Oh, Young did an exit all the way to the wall.
He also kind of just came down a little too. I'm not quite sure what happened there. If the air just kind of got his car a little upset and pulled him down, but he didn't track all the way out and then just kind of turned down on the 18 a little. An interesting looking incident.
Great job to lock it down to prevent it from sliding around anymore. That still completely destroys the set of tires though for the rest of this run. And now this puts us back under the yellow flag with a split decision on strategy again. And now this is where those tire sets are so important.
Yeah, definitely. Wondering if some of these guys, we see 4 tires at least, well, at least the right side's up there on Alex Coffee. I wonder if anybody's coming down just to top off on fuel here though, but looks like most everybody in their stalls here, jacks are up and they're taking 4 tires.
See too many others staying out. A few did, as mentioned. As the race on pit road goes the way first of King by a sizable margin. I believe we had a fuel only stop for the 12 car.
Yeah, it does look to be a fuel only stop there, so definitely if you weren't good on fuel and you didn't have the tire sets to take tires here, it's obviously the right decision to come down and top off, so understandable there, and makes me wonder if the guys that stayed out can make it though if you felt the need to come in and do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people, or a fair amount of people I should say, stayed out. Aaron Matthews, Jared Clark, Matt Cox, Shane Davis, Timothy Harper, Jose Medina, and Warren Young just had that slide, all stayed out. A dangerous one for the 1 car who just heated up and slid his tires and burned a few % off each of those Goodyear Eagles.
Yeah, the yellow should help him out, at least getting the temperatures down on those, but you're absolutely right, the slide is going to wear him out quite a bit, so he's going to be struggling even more than the guys in front of him with tire wear, especially in those rears, so if he was loose before, he better be ready for it to be even looser here when he launches.
I believe there is a question, what is the process to drive? Well, quite simply, if you want to join the series, be sure to find Moonshiners Racing League, find the way to the Discords, be able to join the conversation here today, and be able to join the teams running. So there is an opportunity, I believe, if you want to be able to join the conversation for the series. And, well, join the process, as one fan asked. Very competitive out there, though, remember. So, this could get tricky again. The tire split, 15 laps. About 12 of those under green. We've seen a couple of these drivers who stayed on last time, well, fade back pretty quickly. Coming up to the restart zone, brought to you by SimWrap Market. All set for the fire off yet again. This time Clark didn't even line up alongside the leader. The inside line gets 2 cars to jump ahead quickly. We're backing away.
See quite a mix-up at the front of the field here with the split strategy, as we see Clark up there in the top line in front of Shane Davis. Tim Harper working up underneath him for P3. Matt Cox and Aaron Matthews have broken away.
Oh, some near contact. Young nearly hitting the back end of Medina's car. That's forced 3 wide. Young trying to pass by some of his drivers on strategy. 3 wide and inner squeeze. Young pushes up the 48. Still not clear. Now gets clear as Medina slides up.
Yeah, he used up the 48 2 corners in a row there, so Medina's probably not too happy with the driver of the one there, but we'll see. He's just going to slide in line and follow behind there. So Warren Young working on the outside of Tim Wortman here, moving forward. Those are drivers. Oh, hard contact on the wall in front of them. Not quite sure who that was. Warren Young, though, on those tires looking to move forward.
Oh, in trouble. Wortman Jr. slides up and it's chaos. Couple cars slipping and sliding through turn 2. No caution yet. Now we get 1. Holden comes across the track. Car upside down. It's Fetter Place.
That is, oh, Kyle Holden there towing. Must be terminal damage for him. It looked like that all started with Kenny Coppola kind of just getting to the back of Tim Wortman Jr. Doesn't look like he really lifted for the corner quite in time and sent him way up the racetrack.
Dramatic swing of events once again. 2 different spins. This one is the one that triggers a caution. Wow.
They were, it looked like they were done crashing and Kyle Holden just lost control of his race car, which is what led to this wreck continuing down the back straightaway, ending quite a few drivers' nights there.
Tempers are flaring yet again. The car does a barrel roll. A lot of drivers picking up damage. No meatball flags, but a lot of people picking up some contact there. Past the less than 50 to go mark at least in this one. Corey Moore will lead the way down pit road this time. Many people will peel on down to get repairs done. A lot of cars adding damage. Attrition's been high here tonight, Jeremy, here at Charlotte.
Yeah, it's kind of been looking like what we saw a week ago in the All-Star race. I don't know if they quite reminded these guys it was a points race this week, as we've seen some really aggressive driving, some unnecessary crashes, and some really a lot of wrecked race cars here, as we only have currently remaining on the lead lap 26 of our starters.
Not too many left to go. A lot of people taking a lot of time at the pit stalls to get the damage repair done. And once the contestants 42 still getting damage repairs done on their car. But it's Matthews who leads now in front. So an opportunity for Matthews to try and solidify something here. Want to take the opportunity to speak with one of the drivers here to work under the caution flag. Aaron Matthews Munsters for Team Arrow. Let's see if we can speak with the leader. Aaron Matthews, how are you feeling in the car right now?
Oh, we're feeling pretty good about it. Trying to save a little fuel right now, save a little tire.
How tricky has it been with the strategy roulette? You have a driver on fresh tires going to be starting right behind you.
I didn't hear you. Too many guys talking. What'd you say?
You have a car with fresh tires starting right behind you. How are you going to fare now with the strategy roulette popping up?
Probably going to let him go for now. Just ride it out. See if we can't get a late race caution and get a better set of tires.
Overall, how has the car felt as the night's gone on, though?
The car is feels pretty good. I can push it and get a little loose, or I can conserve and be tight. So I just got to find that fine line. Pull
What'd you
something out
get?
my rear end.
Apologies there. I'll let you get to the preparation now for the restart. Thank you.
Thank you.
Matthews. Made it pretty clear. Strategy is late caution, Jeremy.
Yeah, it leads me to believe that the guys who all took set spare do not have a set remaining. So, after the earlier mentioned word of the day and word of the season really is tire lottery. So, got some guys on one strategy, quite a few on another, and it's really just going to be when do the yellows come out and who does it benefit the most.
Getting ready for the restart. Once again, Matthews in control, Jared Clark alongside. Coffee the first on fresh tires to get through the pack. And he's got a buffer of at least 6 cars to the next on the strategy. Simrat Market restart zone. Green flag, green flag. Yet again, Clark did not fire off. The second consecutive restart. He has not fired up on that outside line. And several people immediately pass him.
See Matthews stretched it out a little bit there, got a really good restart, down through 1 and 2 quite quickly. A little bit of a gap to Coffee on those fresh tires behind him. He has Matt Cox just in behind him as we see Tim Harper working the outside. He'll get P3 from Cox.
The next driver on the fresh tire strategy is the 83, Wortman Jr. Wortman Jr. is amongst those flying down to the middle of the racetrack. No place else to go except go in the push line with some of the drivers that are on older tires slow rolling. Now he's to the inside making some moves and up to the top 5.
Intense moment there as we saw Cox almost had some contact with Victor Pfluger in the 43, allowed Shane Davis to get under the 43 of Pfluger. He's going to take that position from him now. That's for the 7th position. Wortman up there on the fence trying to find a way around Jared Clark.
He is not afraid to push forward right now. He wants the track position. Keep up with those on his strategy. Coffee is in major tire conserve mode because he hasn't gone for the race lead yet. Looks like he's letting Matthews lead and control the pace for now. 29.2s right now were the best lap times. They just set 29.1s to the personal best. Aaron Matthews 29.4s at the moment.
Matthews still, oops, sorry.
You go ahead.
I was going to say Matthews still looking to hold on to that position, but I do believe they're side by side up there for the lead, and I think Coffee just took the lead as they're still in a hornet's nest back here, and this is around the mid-teens for these positions.
Alex Coffee has taken the race lead indeed, as you see some of the checkouts popping up. Some of these drivers starting to really slow roll that bottom on the strategy call, forcing desperate measures to get through this pack as some of the field hopes for another caution. And they might get one. The 11's in the grass. A slide down pit road. Look out. Gallimore hard into the pit barrels. We stay green for now. No one else around them as they've destroyed the car.
I do not see any meatball for him, so he may still be able to continue. Looks fairly terminal, obviously a black flag coming down pit road. I don't know if race control will clear by one or not. as it was just a crash and not actually a violation that he committed. Meanwhile, back on the racetrack here, Matt Cox is looking on the inside of Wiskowski. This is for a ninth position as Cox has fallen backwards on this restart. We saw him up front earlier.
He's lost a fair amount of ground on the restart. He is amongst those on the old tire strategy. Not a surprise. Wiskowski, despite damage, actually able to pass him recently. Bit of a block up the track with Young on the corner exit, causing a little bit of a bump on the 8. No harm, no foul with 39 laps to go. And it's about taking your lumps, you would almost call it right now, with this strategy call.
Yeah, I mean, not a lot you can do, right? I mean, you're on older tires. These guys on fresher tires are just driving around you, and I think Cox's approach here is the best approach. He's just running his line, saving his tires, and, you know, hopefully some of these guys won't get too far ahead of you, and if it does go green, maybe they'll cook their tires and come back to you, and you'll at least get a respectable finish out of this. But as far as the race win goes, he does need that caution.
Oh, there might be one there again. On cue for a second time. This time it does bring it out. Lane Wilson goes around. Still 37 to go. And it's another dig car that goes the wrong way around.
We'll need to get another look at this to see what happened to him as he's coming up on the field quite quickly. I don't think he's too happy.
Spud boxes replay. Looked 3 wide, was 3 wide. Yeah, there was a come up there.
Yeah, don't know if Nick King knew they were 3 wide or not, but he just came up a little bit too much, and not a lot Bladen Wilson could do, as it does sound like Nick King is taking responsibility and apologizing for that one over the radio. Just an unfortunate racing situation there. Just a little bit of a mistake, and unfortunately going to be a big damper on Bladen Wilson's evening.
So, again, the roulette continues. And this is a tough call now for a lot of teams, because how many tire sets can you have left for a lot of these drivers?
Yeah, so we see Coffee taking tires, so I'm thinking that those guys that pit previously still had obviously 1 set sitting here, so I think everybody's pitting here. Those who pit before, this is probably their final set, and the ones who did save that set will still have 1 remaining.
So Coffee is the first one out of this race off pit road for a tire pit stop. Also stayed out this time, Wortman Jr., Coppola, Wiskowski, Schmeeds, Davis, Shade, and Atwood. Let's take the opportunity to talk with Alex Coffey, as he is amongst those that are going to be in push mode. Alex Coffey up at the front of the field, first on fresh tires yet again. Alex, how's your night going so far?
It's definitely been a struggle, I'd say. But hopefully we can get out back in clean air pretty quickly and try to check out.
Why has it been a struggle?
Just had to take some big swings at the car from the drop of the green, but I think we got it dialed in pretty good now. It feels a lot better, so hopefully we can keep moving forward and not have any rough moments on the way through.
What's your approach going to be now with the strategy roulette now seeing another 8 cars stay out here?
Get back by them as quick as I can. I guess that's the only thing. I know these guys around me, behind me, are fast too, so I think whichever one of us gets to the front first is going to be in the best shape for the end.
Once you get focused up for the restart, thank you for the time.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Alex Coffey sets up for the restart of part of Dig Esports here tonight. Still coming up to 33 laps to go here. How would you approach this right now with all this, Jeremy, in this race?
Yeah, I mean, it's time to go. You know, those guys on tires, they can't mess around and wait around, because you're going to let all the other guys on tires take advantage of the positions quicker than you, and then you're going to have to pass all those guys. So got to get to the front as quick as you can, be the first guy to clean air, which is exactly what Alex just said. So, yeah, I think he's got the right mindset moving into the finish here, and I think those around him will have the same mindset.
Field getting set to go. Wortman Jr. in control, coming up to the restart zone. 33 laps to go. The VanLily's Stickers 300. So in control and all set to sail. Green flag waits all the way to the end. Coppola gets a good chance to fire off with the Simrat market restart zone and keep it alongside for the point. 3 and 4 wide in the back.
Major issues launching for somebody in the outside line there led to that as they were scrambling to get around. I believe the 2 car was the culprit there, just didn't quite get through the gears well. But everybody seemed to figure it out now. Darren Mills back up to speed and they're fighting for the lead. Kenny Coppola, Tim Wortman Jr., we've seen these two up front all night.
Coppola has been amongst one of the quick drivers all evening long, but some of the drivers still battling out. Coffee makes contact with Atwood. Holds onto it. Now drips again. Now slides again. Still trying to save it. Now he wrecks it down the back straightaway. Caution flag is out as Coffee and several more scatter.
Unfortunate there for those drivers. We see 91, Nicholas Atwood's luck finally ran out. He's in that wreck. Coffee just had contact with Jared Clark getting back going there. Just, I don't know if he was aware somebody was there or not, but we'll take a look at the RS button boxes replay and see what happened here as he was loose on his own in front of Matthew Cox.
And Atwood had dodged several incidents tonight. Couldn't dodge that one. He was nearly in it 2 times over. The 3rd time was the charm for the incident.
Yeah, it's actually started with Atwood, got into the right rear of Coffee, entered the corner, almost right reared him, and Coffee got loose in reaction to that, and just really, he tried so hard to hold on to that car, he just couldn't do it.
All that brings us back to the caution flag.
See some takers back here.
Yeah, fair amount again. That includes drivers like Taylor and Wyatt coming down. Lucky Dog, by the way, this caution is going to be fitter place. Clark had some issues with black flags at the time of the yellow flag, and he's just parked it. And the more cautions that we get, the tougher this is going to be for those with the fresher tires, you'd have to think, in terms of how this is going to go. Remember, we do have a contest tonight for a Simrat Market gift card of $12. That going to the winner of a paint scheme contest that features the following 3 drivers. The 5 of Matthews, the 42 of Moore, and the 44, that one driven by Rogers. If you feel you think that's going to be one of your best paint schemes to watch for, be sure to put up a vote. Of note, Rogers is already out of the race, but the 5 and the 42 are still churning around the racetrack. Again, vote to be able to see if that paint scheme will win tonight's contest. Less than 30 laps to go here. And it's getting more and more difficult out there, Jeremy, in terms of keeping the racetrack clean. It's getting chippy out there.
Yeah, I mean, nothing to lose as we get later on in this race. These guys are going to be willing to take even more risk, and we've seen them take big risk all evening long. So at this point in the running, I mean, I don't know how much more they can push, but if there's a way that they can find it, they're going to look for it, and that might lead to some more incidents.
Just about all all set for a restart coming up. First driver on fresh tires, Timothy Harper this time. Will start in 7th. Biggest mover tonight so far, Johnny Shade, as we go. Shade has been bounced around a fair bit tonight, but he's up 25. Shade is amongst those drivers on the roll at the dice strategy, though. He's in the top 6. Drivers like Fetter Place calling for 6 more cautions. Have a bit of luck. I don't think we're going to get 6. But we're going to get a potential for more attrition here. Of note as well, by the way, Darren Mills, Old Tires, will be starting middle of the pack. So that's going to be a tough situation for the 2 car. But the rest of the field comes to sim wrap mark and restart zone, ready to fire off. Coppola and Wortman Jr. on the front row. Green flag is out. Back underway. Let's fire off again from the 77. 83 already clears for second. Oh, wow, they make more contact, and here we go again. Caution flag is out. It's the 1. Warren Young going around. More black flags go flying for incident points.
He is beached, and I believe that car is toast. He hit the outside wall a ton at a really, really aggressive angle.
RS Spun Boxes replay. Believe some air might have been involved, if you get what I mean.
You'll see here, Tim Harper went into the middle, got into the right rear of Davis, which shot him up the racetrack and just kind of wrecked Warren Young there. Unfortunate for Warren Young. He had a good evening going. He was up in the top 10 for quite a bit at some points of this race, and I mean, he did nothing wrong there and just got taken out.
Tempers are flaring. Hero car going around in trouble this time. And there it is from above. Yeah. That's a tough one. And they bounced off a couple other cars as a result of that spin down the racetrack to add more damage. Rough, by the way, picked up another black flag. The 14, not happy as they picked up more incidents. Remember, you can get a black flag at 17 incident points. So the 14s picked up a lot of them tonight.
Yeah, it's been a rough evening for Kevin Ruff, and he's been very active on the radio and making sure the other drivers in the field know he is displeased with the driving standards across the board. And, you know, we had Brandon Fetterplace asking for 6 more cautions. Well, at the rate they're going, that was 1 more right there. He's going to get them.
So, what kind of goes through your mindset when you have a caution-free caution race start to develop like this here, Jeremy?
Avoid the wrecks. I mean, you're up front. I mean, it depends on your strategy. I mean, there's some guys that are really happy with these yellows, like the guys on older tires where the restarts really benefit them. And then there's the guys that have fresh tires that want some green flag laps to let those tires bring them to the front of the field, and they're, you know, cursing at everybody, telling them to stop wrecking. So it was really just there's 2 sides of the coin here, and I don't really know which way it's going to go. They've been wrecking a lot, so I think it'd be safe to say that we're not done with that.
So we're about to find out pretty soon how this field is going to cope with these caution flags. Less than 25 to go when we fire back up. A lot of these drivers' beds are made here. Let's see which ones are lit on fire. The final 24 laps once we get the green flag flying. 22 cars, by the way, are still in the lead lap. And it stayed chippy all night. The temperature is starting to drop with the track temp. It is getting colder out there, Jeremy, so we are seeing that start to slip now.
Yeah, our air temp hasn't really moved, so I wonder if the track temp is kind of just dropping because we haven't had green flag laps with the cars, pushing into the racetrack, eating it up. So 76 degrees, obviously last time we checked in it was 78, so it's going to be a little more grip, which is going to let these guys be even more aggressive on these restarts, and, well, more grip, more aggression, more crashes.
We're about to find out what happens here. So all set to go for the restart. Get Coppola, Wortman Jr., Smeets, Wyszkielski wants the top 5. Chris Davis also on old tires. The first on fresher tires is Timothy Harper, who is running in 6th. Green flag is out. And not a great launch from the 83. Here comes the 22, looking for 2nd.
We haven't seen much of Smeets up front tonight, but he's looking to be inside of Wortman there. Can't quite clear him, though. Wortman's going to make that high line work for him, get a run down the back straightaway. As they're going to be 3 wide in there behind him. Tim Harper threading the needle in the middle.
Oh, some 3 wide. Oh, and near contact was Kelski. Just about turned the 56 with that maneuver. They'll still keep it side by side, though, on the outside. How about a force back 3 wide right into Harper? That puts them into the wall. Harper pushed the wall, boys. Kelski gets a black flag for incident, turns the 32, and the caution waves as he slides and collects multiple others.
Wyszkielski just wrecked a lot of race cars right there. I believe he was a little upset Tim Harper took a 3 wide, threw it in there, and just stuffed him in the fence. Then he came down, wrecked Matt Cox, wrecked himself, and then took out a bunch of other cars while he was wrecking.
Ours Box's replay, yeah. Funnily enough, one driver predicted the 32 was going to involve in the next caution. They just got the prediction. I don't think that's how they called it, though. There's the 3 wide.
Yeah, I mean, I guess kind of understand why Wyszkielski would be upset there. I feel like Tim kind of ran him as clean as he could for how as aggressive as he was, and just comes down here and ships him.
Says, oh, those tires just didn't work the same this corner. Yeah. I think at least, yeah.
The worst part is all the innocent race cars here. I mean, that's like, I think 4 or 5 extra race cars that have nothing to do with it, just getting taken out. And I mean, that's what you don't want to see, It's okay when 2 drivers are going at each other and using each other up, but you don't ever want to see them taking out a bunch of guys that have nothing to do with it.
Wyszkielski has now parked it for the night. Yeah, that was not going to stick.
Yeah, he lifted a little, and then he kind of just got right back to the throttle and carried in the fence, and just, I mean, frankly, obliterated Matt Cox in the right rear.
So a lot more drivers collected there. No more meatball flags again, but a litany of black flags at least stacking up. Attrition like Martinsville, but at a track like Charlotte. What else can you say?
Yeah, and that's a beast mode driver taking out a beast mode driver at the tail end of that when he gets Cox as well. So it might be some internal dialogue that's gonna be spurred on that one. As I think Matt Cox thought he had a chance to win tonight.
Take a break. More coverage coming up at the OB Builders Cup Series here for the VanLily's Stickers 300 from Charlotte.
Drop it.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iracing.com.
Welcome back for a restart. It's been a wild night here in Charlotte. Stage 3 has been full of attrition. Racing for more than 2 hours now. Just about set for a restart. Gobala and Warman Jr. still 1 and 2. Schmeets and Matthews, Davis and Medina up there as well now. And here we go again. Spinning the tires in the Simrap market restart zone. The field stacks up and we're under yellow.
It's going to be easier to count the ones that weren't in this one. Somebody spun the tires really bad in the front of the field, and oh, they're still hitting. That wrecked a lot of race cars.
Spun the tires. What else can you say? 22 slides. And it collects everybody. Meatball flag for King. 3 different black flags. A lot of drivers collected yet again, Jeremy, and the cautions, they just keep on coming.
Yeah, drivers still sharing their displeasure over radio with one another. Schmeets just made a mistake here, really, and it's all it comes down to. And we're going to update the Brandon Fetterplace countdown. He requested 6 yellows. He has received 2.
I don't know if he's going to get enough caution flags even then to get all the lucky dogs. He's still 4 down. Well, this one would put him to 3 down.
This will put him 3, I believe. Yeah, so actually, he might have gotten 3 of the yellows. I might be missing one. But that's how much we've wrecked tonight, huh?
Yes. In the words of Jeffrey Taylor, you either win or wreck. It's one or the other. By the way, remember Darren Mills? We mentioned him going to be on a different strategy a while ago. He just might have won the roll of dice a little bit here. With all those cars collected in this incident, so many EOL penalties and black flags now for incident points stacking up. Mills is the first on fresh tires, now up in 5th.
Yeah, it's huge for Darren Mills. We saw him on a restart earlier have some real issues and lose all his track position, but he's back up front now, and I mean, he's got tires. There's nothing stopping him from having a chance to go win this race.
Yeah, it is a big chance now for someone we haven't talked about much all night. Once those who also have pit recently, Barry Sanders and Chris Davis also in that conversation. Coming out of the pits recently, Nicholas Atwood and Jordan Smeets did survive at least to come out of the pit road in 11th. But the old tires for now are withstanding. Corey Moore might be the next person having a chance for the race lead pretty soon, though, if he isn't passed by Mills quickly. So the old tires are withstanding the absolute chaos that's built up here.
Yes, they are, and Moore did a great job getting high and missing that wreck. That's what put him there. We see Wyatt also was able to avoid that crash, but Kenny Coppola, Tim Wortman Jr. is going to be the front row once again. These two, I think these two are enjoying the wrecks, Justin.
Now EOL penalty just got given out in by the sim. 22 just got one. A lot of people having some issues with pit road sequencing here. So we'll restart once again. A lot of cars with a lot of damage here tonight, stacked up on their engines and their machines. Who will survive is the question.
Not a lot of cars in the camera shot as people are going to be coming back around with those damage repairs to clutch onto the tail end of this field. We'll probably see a long line of single file cars off the back of our top 10.
Bill just now catching up to the pacing line, coming up 15 laps to go in this one. First half of this race breezed on by within about an hour or so. The second half, it's taking a little bit more time than that. All set to go for the SimRap market restart zone. Green flags back out. Back underway. Poor start for the 83 this time. Wyatt going for second.
Down through the restart zone cleanly that time. Everybody gets through the gears. Huge lead for Kenny Coppola as they're side by side for second still. Wyatt working the inside of Wortman. Here comes Corey Moore down the back straightaway. He's going to get to the back bumper of the 83 and help him forward.
Able to get some good fire off there. Indeed goes the 42. Sketchy moment with Mills there trying to clear by. He's now got 3 wide around him. Davis almost had 4 wide. Contact Mills with the problem. Sanders hit the back end of him. Wyatt gets shoved up the racetrack. Mills closes the door across the aero car.
These guys fighting really hard 3 wide. We know Mills has those tires. Barry Sanders up the middle. I think he has tires as well. Here comes Jeffrey Taylor. They're stacking up. Oh, we're going to keep it straight there. And Mills was loose out of turn 4.
Mills not comfortable on the new tires. That is not good. He's now getting passed by a lot of the cars who just got some damage repair done on their cars. Mills pushed up the track. And a disastrous stint all of a sudden for the 2. Matthews, he's flying. He just took new tires with the caution flag, and he is coming in quick.
Yeah, he's coming up on these guys, but up front, Tim Wortman Jr. never mind. Chris Davis just ran the fastest lap of the race in P4. He's coming up on the battle for the lead behind Corey Moore, Tim Wortman Jr., and Kenny Coppola, as we still look on back here at Jeffrey Taylor and Barry Sanders fighting each other.
Haven't talked much about Chris Davis all night long amongst those drivers on some fresh tires. He's gotten the strategy roulette just right to be in this conversation so late in the order. Oh, that's with some of the battles looking like this. Taylor trying to make his way around Sanders. They need to gain a lot of ground though. A side drop slows up the 9.
Yeah, these 2 racing each other isn't going to help either one of their causes if they want to get to the front and have a chance to win this thing. As here comes Aaron Matthews into the picture. He's going to look to make quick work of both of them.
Makes work on 1 for Sanders. Able to have some slack from the teammate. Can he get some slack from the other? Thanks, teammate, on the radio from Matthews, to Matthews rather. As we're under 10 laps to go in this race.
And the guy, contact between Sanders and Matthews there off of 4. Sanders down there in the AstroTurf through the restart zone. Gonna keep side by side with Matthews. That's hurting both of them, and that's allowing Jeffrey Taylor to slip away from these 2. Up front though, Kenny Coppola, Tim Wortman Jr., Corey Moore still control the top 3.
Yes, indeed. They're not done battling, surprisingly. Oh, and Matthews had to burp the throttle a lot. Sanders had better grip. Able to hold on to it. By the way, the leaders are still running 29 2s and 3s at the moment. The drivers on fresh tires, they are somehow 3/10 slower than these cars.
I think that's a combination of damage, spins for a lot of those guys, and all these yellows with the heat cycles. These tires got so cool and low on air that they're probably running some of the best they've ran all night, even with the extra laps on them, and they got the clean air and they're drafting away with each other.
But how are they going to figure out who's going to win the race? Moore near contact. No place for the 42 to go. He's got fresher tires, but it doesn't seem to matter right now. They've already hit the equalization point.
And Moore is definitely looking to be in a good position here, but the tires, as you said, have equaled off a little bit, and I want you an advantage. Davis a little bit faster at time behind them, but that's a lot of ground to make up over the course of only 5 to go when they come to the line. I just don't know if he can get there, and let alone pass 3 cars if he does.
Davis is trying all he might right now to close on up. Past couple laps, he's closed about a 10th or so. 10th or so is not going to be enough to close up for the race lead. Already down to 5 laps to work with here in this one. 5 laps to go here from Charlotte. Wortman Jr. trying to dig a little bit to get to Coppola.
Yeah, he's got to find something right now. I mean, he's got to look deep down and figure something out here to get to him. I mean, finishing second's not going to pay here for him. He wants to win that race, and he's looking for a way to get to the back bumper of Kenny Coppola and find a way around. It's just so hard to do. Kenny's not making a mistake out front.
Coming up to 3 laps to go in this one. 3 laps to work with here from Charlotte. Right now, the 77 for in the middle line, bottom line for the 83. Here comes the battle for third. 74 has found some ground to be able to make up. Able to try and battle for the podium. Davis making the pass. Don't think he has enough time to get up to the race lead unless he gets a miracle with 2 laps to go.
He's going to need those two to get side by side, and it's not looking like they're going to. But right now it's going to be, can Tim Wortman find something over these next lap and a half to just close that gap and have a chance at Kenny Coppola, who seems to be just cruising to a victory here.
Here comes the run for second. Coming up to the white flag this time by final lap of the VanLily's Stickers 300. Wortman Jr. losing second. Davis able to zip by. Davis finding speed late, but Kenny Coppola has had speed all night. He's remained up at the front for much of the evening. He's controlled the pace in these later stages with this strategy call. He built the buffer to be able to hold on for this spurt. Checker flag, Kenny Coppola takes the win at Charlotte.
Great effort by Kenny this evening. We saw him with alternate strategy, put himself up front throughout the night. Paid off for him. He brings home a huge win that'll lock him into the playoffs.
Great run for the 77 here tonight. They're still pushing like there is no other lap to push. Davis just ran out of time.
As we see them down here on the front stretch, going to take his victory celebration, doing some donuts down there on the apron and the Charlotte logo, and well deserved for Kenny Coppola. It's just a really impressive victory for him, and he's going to burn it down and celebrate here. We'll take a quick break here, and we'll come back with our results and more from our winner, P2 and P3.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iracing.com.
An eventful 300 miles at Charlotte this evening resulted in Kenny Coppola coming home victorious, as we'll take a look at tonight's results in a wreck-filled affair. Following Coppola's victory was his teammate Chris Davis in P2, charging late with fresh tires. Tim Wortman Jr., an impressive run from the pole position, finished third, followed by Corey Moore and Jeffrey Taylor rounding out our top five. Barry Sanders, with a really strong run, came home sixth after a late battle with his teammate Aaron Matthews, who lost out to P7. Darren Mills recovered to 8th, Alex Coffey recovered to 9th, and Jose Medina finished P10. In the 11th position this evening, Shane P. Davis, after some issues of his own, came back to finish 11th, followed by Johnny Shade, Blaine Wilson, Victor Fluger, and Jordan Schmitz, rounding out the top 15. Shane Wyatt, Matt Cox were our last two lead lap finishers in 16th and 17th. Finishing a lap down this evening was Nicholas Atwood after serving a penalty late. Brandon Fetterplace came home in 19th, and Ryan Huff followed in 20th. In 21st this evening was Kevin Ruff, followed by Paul Gallimore, Kyle Holden, Nick King, and Tim Harper in 25th. Colt Plaskowski, after the incident with Tim, came home in 26th. Warren Young finished it off in 27th, Jared Clark in 28th, Sean Rogers in 29th, and Caden Norfree, after a connection issue, fell to 30th. Rounding out the field for the evening was Matt Mackin in the 01 in 31st, Nigel Christensen in 32nd, Greg Carr in 35th, Jameson Middlemas with some more misfortune in 34th, and after crashing early, Justin Belmonte finished 35th. We're going to move to interview our winner this evening. Kenny Coppola is standing by. Kenny, we saw you come home with the win tonight. What led to you having the strategy work out all the way you needed to come home with the win on the older tires there? Sorry, Kenny, do you have a copy?
Yeah, I got you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. How exactly did you hold off on the older tires there to come home with a win tonight?
To be honest, I have no idea. I probably should have pit somewhere in that caution fest, but Shane Davis is probably the best crew chief in the business and told me just keep the clean air and give her hell. So I did, and tires ended up just staying on long enough for me. I think with all those heat cycles, it really starts to do a number on these tires, even for guys that had a little bit fresher ones, and it kind of revives the older tires. So I figured I'd just give it my best and run it to the end.
Well, definitely did a great job holding off. And I know you said you probably should have pit there, but I think you made the right decision not pitting. Obviously, coming home with the victory tonight, and we saw you with some alternate strategies holding off for the stage points earlier as well. What went into those decisions to keep the track position then as well and get some more points?
A lot of these races end up starting with cautions, and towards the end they go green. And I've played the strategy take tires early and not save any, and they've costed us a couple of races. So I just went reverse strategy tonight, and I ended up keeping one set of tires in the pits, and it ended up working out for me.
Well, great job with that. And who gets it all done for you on the 77?
GMD Janitorial. My buddy Chris Davis just started a new company, put his hood on the logo. Got to give him a shout out. All my buddies at Beast Mode Performance for pushing each other to be better every week. Team Watson Racing setups I build for them, and just comfortable, fast race cars. Run up front a lot. And then Boomer Button Box, Icon Apparel. Want to thank my wife for giving me the time and space to come out here and race with these guys on Wednesday nights.
Well, congratulations on a solid win here tonight, Kenny. We look forward to seeing more coming from you moving forward.
Appreciate it, boys.
All right, and joining Justin now is our P2 finisher this evening, Chris Davis in the 74.
Yes, indeed. Chris Davis able to push his way to second spot here tonight. Chris, talk us through that run towards the end of this race on the fresher tires.
Oh man, that was wild. I knew I had to get going pretty quick, otherwise the guys that pitted with me was gonna swallow me up there. So I think myself, Barry, Darren Mills, and Shane White, and one more other all went 3 wide through 3 and 4, and then 1 and 2, and I barely was able to squeak through it, and just started running them down. I was trying to take care of my stuff because I knew they were going to get tight real quick, but man, I just needed probably 2 more laps, and I might have had Kenny, but man, he was on rails all night, so can't knock him or Tim. Tim was really quick all night. He just didn't have any tires left, so he did a tremendous job just holding on. But man, after being gone for about a month, not being able to race, it feels real good to come back and finish second.
Overall, what do you feel caused the attrition here tonight? That you're
Man,
track
it's
by Charlotte.
just impatience. A lot of these guys are highly talented drivers, but they just get too impatient. I think I rode around in 24th to 30th almost the whole night. Just guys coming on fresh tires. They don't give enough room for people on old tires. Guys just making outrageous moves, and I mean it's pitiful. This league is so much better than what we put on for tonight. Um, Hopefully it wasn't too bad for you guys, but yeah, I hope we can clean it up because this league's a lot better than this.
Your thoughts heading into the next race? I believe Nashville is next on the schedule.
Nashville's a tough one for me. I'm not real good there, but Kenny Coppola, TWRS, they build great sets, so I know he's going to knock it out of the park and even give a washed up driver like me a chance to get up there and show what it's got. So we're going to put some practice in and see what we can do, but not a lot of high hopes. But after that, back to these mile and a half, and I'll be feeling good.
Anyone you want to give a shout out to here tonight?
All the BMP guys, Beast Mode Performance, they're great. TWRS, GMD janitorial, new business I started. So got to give a shout out to my wife, my daughter. Appreciate them for letting me do this, and appreciate you guys for hanging in there. Like I said, I know this is gonna be rough for you, so we appreciate it.
Congratulations on the run here tonight.
Thank you.
Chris Davis coming away in second spot tonight in this one. Then it was in the third position, Tim Wortman Jr. coming in third position. He is with Jeremy.
Tim, we saw you on the pole tonight. A lot of raw speed in that 83 car for you. Just couldn't quite get it done on the older tires. What more did you need to come home to better this evening?
I don't know. I think that we played that set of tires about as good as we could, thanks to everybody in the rest of the field. I couldn't be happier with the set of the P3. Maybe I don't take the set of tires in stage 2 and forego that, and I have the extra set in the final stage there, but then does it put me back in all that mess? So maybe I'm good to be where I was at for tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. It was definitely an impressive run from you, and we enjoyed watching you up front so much. But you kind of hit on it there. But what was the key for you just staying out of all the wrecks tonight? Obviously, was quite chaotic for most of the field. Only 17 cars coming home on the lead lap, and you being one of the ones that stayed clean all night long.
You got to run up front in this league, and you got to save tires when you can. You gotta stay back from where the cautions start. So the guys up front run really hard. Sometimes you'll get the cautions from up there, but for most part, like you saw my 600 last week, the moment I got shuffled to the back, I was out of the race. It seemed like in 20 laps after that. So just gotta run your car just hard enough to stay towards the front.
Yeah, absolutely. Only car with 0 incident points this evening as well, so you definitely did a great job at that. Who all helps you get it done on the 83 machine and brings out this great pace every week for you?
I mean, gotta give the shout out to Ryko tonight for, just got knocked off for the fastest lap with, 40 plus lap old tires. I thought that was pretty crazy when we set that. Nick King and Warrior Apps put me in another sweet looking paint this week, and just all my buddies at Warrior Racing. It was kind of a strange night tonight. Everybody in the Discord was all on different setup shops. There wasn't nobody running the exact same set. So I don't know if that's how a team's supposed to work, but it's just fun. I've been hanging out with these guys for years. It's fun to show up every week and race with these guys. And kudos to you guys for putting on just a great looking broadcast.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time. We look forward to seeing you run up front some more later on the season.
All right. Thanks. See you next week.
That was Tim Wortman Jr. I'd like to thank the entire top 3 for speaking with us during post-race coverage here on Ballin TV. Next race goes to Nashville Super Speedway. That race going to be on June the 4th. Coverage starts once again 8 p.m. Eastern. Be sure to tune in here on Ballin TV. Your final thoughts on this one, Jeremy, and your thoughts for Nashville.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was not the race that everybody was hoping for tonight across the league. A lot of crashes, a lot of cautions, a lot of pacing, but ultimately the guy who got it done, Kenny Coppola, put himself in the right position all night long and made the best decisions to put himself there, and gave a shout out to the crew chief with those pit calls, and those ultimately won him the race. But looking forward to Nashville. I've done a couple races there already this week. I think it's a really unique racetrack, one of the only concrete tracks on the schedule, so always throws a unique challenge at teams building a setup, and the drivers too. Just kind of drives like a mile and a half, kind of doesn't. So it's a very unique place, and I think we should definitely see a really exciting race.
Absolutely. And by the way, for those wondering about the contest, just trying to add up the votes manually here, it is because for those respective drivers, it came down to a couple votes for each of those respective competitors amongst their fan bases here tonight. Based on the numbers here, it goes to the number 42, it looks like. With a count of 3, the next closest had 2 in terms of their count here tonight. But on that note, it's time to say goodbye here for this evening's action for the race itself. For the rest of our crew, I'm Justin Prince saying so long. Enjoy the rest of your evening. You've been watching coverage of the VanLily's Stickers 300 for the Moonshiners Racing League of the OB Builders Cup Series here from Charlotte. We'll see you next time from Nashville.